Hi, and welcome to Creator Fundamentals. My name is Dan Currier, and I am here to help you deliver your value to the world. Thank you so much for joining us on our live stream for tonight. For those of you who are new, we do a subscriber hangout every Wednesday night, 9 p.m. Eastern. Tonight, it's a little bit different. We have a special guest to share with you, and I'm going to go right ahead and introduce him to you. His name is Derral Eves. If you're familiar with him or whether you're not, Derral Eves is going to introduce himself. Hey, Derral, it's great to have you.
Hey, it's good to be here, Dan. Thanks for the invite, for sure.
For those of you who may not be familiar with Derral Eves and what he does, Derral, can you give them a little a sense of who you are? And
Yeah, for sure. So I have been on YouTube since 2005. And as you're aware, YouTube actually started in 2005. And I have been on the platform from pretty much day one. And I fell in love with it so much that it really coincided with my business. I actually own an agency. We work with brands and creators. And we've literally loved the roller coaster of YouTube. And just in short, just the other day, I actually opened up my 21st gold play button. That's right. That's 21 channels that we've taken from 0 to over 1 million subscribers. And we just surpassed 36 billion video views for myself and my clients. And it's just been a fun ride. So that's kind of what I do. I'm passionate about education. And I got sick of answering questions from my clients. So I actually started a YouTube channel when I have a spare 20 minutes in the week and upload videos to YouTube. And you can find me, at Derral Eves or youtube.com/Derral Eves for some tips and tricks about things about YouTube or whatever. And then I also am a founder of Vid Summit, which is a conference that we put on. It's our 5th year. It's in LA. It's in October 9th through the 12th. And it's really high level audience development and making money off of videos.
yeah, and so for Derral was somebody that I actually came across when I started to get serious on YouTube, and even more helpful than his channel was VidSummit. Last year when VidSummit rolled around, I was in a position where I wasn't immediately going to go because I didn't really understand the benefit that it could have for me at the time. It was September last year. I was at 410 subscribers. But as I looked into it and started to realize that VidSummit was a little bit different than some of the other conferences, I decided to actually go for it and head out to VidSummit. And Derral, can you talk about a little bit how VidSummit is different than, say, a VidCon or some of the other conferences that are out there?
Yeah, like the thing for me is I'm always looking to learn. And I go out and train and speak, and I would either be on the stage or in the audience. And I'd go to these conferences, and I really felt at the end of the day that I was wasting my time. Like my time is super precious, and I want to learn. I also want to connect. I also want to networking. That's good for all conferences, is networking with people there. But that added bonus to really make it worth my time is I wanted to learn. And when I'd walk away with only maybe one strategy or one idea, I felt like I was like literally losing an opportunity to really grow as an individual, as a creator, as a business owner. And as I started to see that there are a lot of people that was spending a lot of time, energy, and money coming to these conferences, I says there's never going to be a conference that's going to be 100% in line with me unless I start my own. So 5 years ago, I decided, you know what? I'm going to start a conference. I'm going to put it in LA to make it very convenient for a lot of creators in that area, because that's the highest concentration of creators. And I'm going to personally invite the people that I want to learn from. And they were the first ones to be on stage. And I'm here to tell you, I walked away with a ton of information personally from that. And what I loved about it is everyone was open to share. And to get on the stage, you have to be willing to share case study and what's actually happening right now. Not what happened 3 years ago or 2 years ago. I don't want to hear any of that. What I want to know is what's happening right now. And so it evolved into something more amazing because as we understood who our target audience is, we kind of invited more people. Last year was our 4th year, and we're not going to go bigger than this. We had 13,000 or 1,300 people there. And that's the biggest I want to go because I want people to be approachable with the speakers, and I want the right people in the room. And it turned out way amazing, because what's happening is you have these high level people. Some of the people you don't even know who they are, but you might know of them, of their work. And so, of the most viral video ads of all time, of the top 8, we had 6 that actually present at the Vid Summit, and they opened up their playbook, they opened up their strategy, and they're willing to do that. And then you have top creators that are there. And then what you don't know is like who's sitting in the audience. So like in the audience last year, we had one channel over 20 million that was sitting in the audience. I can guarantee you right now that like no one knew that he was sitting there. Like they had no idea, except for me and a few others that actually know the individuals. We had 3 that had over 10 million. These are not the people that are presenting. These are the people sitting in the audience. Then we had 136 that had over 1 million subscribers. We had 238 that had over 500,000 subscribers. And that was the people in the audience, let alone all the people that are designers, marketers, editors, agencies, and brands. They're right there. Now, the difference between this and other conferences, it's 100% knowledge base. It's like knowledge bombs left and right. I know you, Dan, you went there, and you're just like absorbing this information. And it's not information you're going to receive anywhere else. Like everybody else kind of dumbs it down. Like for me, the curriculum of what you're actually getting at the Vid Summit, I actually choose who the speaker is and what they're going to speak on. And I am the target avatar. Like I want to learn from them. And I was on a call today with someone that was presenting. I'm like, nope, no, I don't like that idea. And like, well, no, people will like it. I'm like, no, it's my conference. I'm the avatar, and this is what I would like, And they're like, oh, okay, no, that makes sense, because I know if I like it, there's going to be a whole crowd of people that's there. So that's the Vid Summit in short. We're going on our 5th year this year. We're in LA again, October 9th through the 12th, and you can get information at vidsummit.com.
Absolutely. And thanks to Derral, you don't have to start your own conference to get all this advice from all these experts, because he's done all the work for you. Yeah, I mean, I went last year, and it was just head down, taking notes. It was amazing to listen to all these people speak. And like Derral said, it's not just, people from the niche of how to grow on YouTube, but it's people that run successful businesses and marketers and sponsors and all kinds of people that represent all the different facets of what you need to interact with and learn about to actually make a successful business with your YouTube channel. I think a lot of people, and I was discussing this earlier with somebody, and about the transition you make between doing YouTube as a hobby and actually trying to make a viable business. And I think it kind of comes down to your mindset and your confidence, where in the beginning you don't really know what you don't know, so you're not even aware of what's possible. And at the same time, you lack that confidence to know the path to get there. And for me, that the transition from not having the right mindset and not having the confidence to actually go out there and say, yes, this is a business, it's going to be successful, this is how I'm going to get there, was Vid Summit last year. You got to go out there and talk to people who had done it before, super successful at it. In the hallways between all of the presentations, you got to actually talk to these people face to face. It's not like some stuffy environment where people are up on the stage and you look at them and leave. You're having face to face conversation with the presenters. Other YouTubers have been successful, and it's an awesome environment to get in and to immerse yourself in, because we all know in our normal lives, you can't go out and chat with people about YouTube. They don't get it. And what better way than to surround yourself with successful YouTubers who are turning it into a business? They're supporting their channels and actually creating, financial stability through that as a business on YouTube. So,
well, what I love too, Dan, to be honest with you, it's like the conversations that are spurred because of the content, right? The content is king, and the ideas that are put out there. I have a channel that I help get up to a specific point, in YouTube and so on and so forth. They have well over 1 million subscribers. They just killing it. And I tried to get them to come to Vid Summit, And they're like, oh, too busy, too busy. Well, finally, like the stars aligned in their schedule, and they came, and they're like, I've been to a lot of conferences. I'm like, you've never been to the Vid Summit. It's totally different. And the first presentation, his head literally exploded, like literally exploded. And I caught him in the hallway, and he goes, oh my God, I had no idea that you guys just focus in on making money, like literally business stuff. And I says, yeah, I've been trying to tell you that. He goes, well, it didn't sink in because all the other conferences are either dealing with fans or whatever. It's not really, in depth for me. And this is like for me. And I says, well, what did you do? And he says, oh, I had an amazing idea because you're talking about, doing your own brand and building it off. Like I wasn't personally, there's a presentation on stage and really finding some sourcing in China and coming up with a product. And he goes, I'm just like trying to think of the possibilities. I says, I'll tell you, I'll do something better for you. See those guys over there? Those are the guys that actually have the connections in China, and you can actually talk to them and they'll probably source it for you. So you come up with the idea or they can work with them. And so I introduced him. They hit it off. 3 weeks later, he was in mainland China. He had to get a visa. That's all he waited for. And they were picking products, picking manufacturers and all this other stuff. And I can tell you right now, because of Vid Summit, he is now making more money in a month than he used to make a year off of ad revenue. And that's all because of the connections that you're able to get, but also the type of people and the strategies that they're opening up. Because I can guarantee you what was actually taught about how to actually do Amazon fulfillment and all the other things that are there and the opportunities and leveraging a brand instead of doing a brand deal. Like you become the brand and promote your own stuff and triple dip out of Amazon. That's what was actually happening there. And so he was able to explode.
Yeah, and that it's the other thing that you don't realize is I'm actually reading a book now called My Personal MBA. It was recommended by Tim Schmoyer, and the things that we do to kind of move along the YouTube business they're universal in the business world in terms of delivering value and the different ways that we go about actually marketing that and converting that into a viable business. So it's they're skills that you can even use beyond YouTube, and it's just like I mentioned, it was just like such an eye opener for me when I went to Vid Summit to really hear all this stuff and to see what these people were able to accomplish with it. That I think a lot of people don't really, when they first start out on YouTube, they don't know how many possibilities there are, and they don't know just the path to get there. And a thing like Vid Summit, like Derral said, which is 100% about the business of YouTube and how you align what you're passionate about to turn it into something that can actually support you and your family, is to me, from what I've seen from all the other conferences, it just seems like the conference to go to if you're a YouTuber.
Yeah, for sure.
I want to hop in the chat here real quick and say hello to everybody. We've been talking it up here, but I usually like to go in and say hello to everybody who is out there. We see Beanie Draws out there, Car Galaxy Studio, Shannon Vlog, so great to see you. Dr. Sten Eckbert out there as well. We have Foul Fish, Frankie J, Tom DeSico, good to see you, my friend. We have, who else we got out here? Doug Hewson, of course, Gord Eisman, Matthew Ergel, DC Scrappin' Rooster. A lot of familiar faces as well as some new ones. Great to have everybody here tonight. So let's see here. I just want to find. So if you guys have any specific questions, go ahead and tag Doug Hewson in the chat and ask your questions. You have the prime opportunity here to have Derral Eves in front of you. So it's a great time to get your questions answered. So tag Derral or tag Doug, and he'll organize the questions and give them to us just so we don't miss any in the chat, because we got an active chat out there and I don't want to miss any of your questions. So, and for those of you, did we mention it? October 9th?
Yeah, 9th through the 12th.
9th through the 12th. LA. Yep. Out there in LA. So if you're in the LA area, for sure, you got to find a way to get there. I'm going from New York. You got people like Nick Nimmin who head over there from Thailand. So don't let the travel stop you. All right, here. By the way, I've already submitted an earlier question. Doug Hewson, let me just pop in the questions here real quick. Beauty in the Know asked a question. Very general question is, how do I grow on YouTube?
That's a question that I hear a lot.
Yeah, I do as well. What do you think? What would you tell people are like the top 3 things that you think are important in growing on YouTube?
Well, look, at the end of the day, it's all about your content. And I truly believe that if your content sucks, you'll never grow on YouTube. Ever. Ever. You might have one video that takes off, but they won't never watch another video of your choosing, from there. So it's all about your content. The biggest thing, though, that I found that a lot of content creators miss out on is what content really is for YouTube. And I truly believe this wholeheartedly. And like I said, I've started 21 channels and got those 21 channels over 1 million subscribers each. Some of them have several, 3 to 4 or 5 million subscribers on it. So these are active channels getting billions of views. And from that is what I've learned is there's certain principles that you need to look at. And 100%, if you don't have your content resonate with your target audience, YouTube will never know what to do with your video. And if it doesn't necessarily have the indicators of good content, then YouTube's never going to recommend your videos. And so at the end of the day, you got to understand what content is. And I'll teach you right now. This is something I only usually do in my private groups, but I'm more than comfortable sharing this with the group here because I love Dan and what he's trying to do here. But content is this, and it's in order of priority, okay? Title, thumbnail is content. I whether you agree with me or not, I don't care, but it's content. Okay, title, thumbnail, and then your video, and then your description. Like that is content that YouTube's looking at, because what you're looking at first is how many impressions is your title and thumbnail getting? Of those impressions, what's your click-through rate? And when they go onto the video, how many people start the video and end the video with the average view duration? If your video sucks, that it's just basically dropping off, YouTube's never in the million years going to recommend your video anymore. Now, if you go back, 5 years ago, 6 years ago, 7 years ago, yeah, absolutely, YouTube would promote you just because of the other indicators. But now there is machine learning, and the machine is learning what type of viewer will watch what type of content. Because the whole reason why this AI exists is to predict for the viewer what's going to be best for them to watch and keep them longer on the platform. So at the end of the day, to actually get growth on YouTube, your content needs to be good. And YouTube's giving you the tools right now as a creator to tell if your content's good or not. One of the biggest mistakes that people make is like literally getting the wrong viewer to watch. So they're like, oh, let's go ahead and share this. Like I literally saw this today. Let's go ahead and share this in a Facebook group, and everybody go watch this video. And there's someone on this live stream that says, no, I don't think that's a good idea. And I totally agree with them, because what happens is you're getting all these people that go and watch, and it confuses the AI of who your audience is. So it doesn't know how to recommend your video out, because what they're looking for is patterns. Right. The AI is looking for specific patterns to figure out where to actually share your video. And so ultimately, at the end of the day, it's better to have less people watch your video, but it's more your target avatar, than to have a whole bunch of views that are getting your stuff all over the place, that you have all this retention that's different. But if you can get a consistency of a core, that core is key. So like when this video started, there was 34 people on the live stream. This is the core group that YouTube's going to target you and say, oh, guess what? Dan has a new live stream. It's going to show up in your feed. Now, there's one person that comes on and says, I never got a notification. Why didn't you get a notification, Beanie Dries? I can tell you this right now. You're not integrating as much with Dan's content as other people are. And so YouTube's looking at your viewing behavior, when you're coming on, when you're not, and they're making the decision. If you're not engaging with his content as long, well, maybe we're not going to send that notification out to you. Even if you hit that reminder, you're not going to do it.
Right.
that was a pretty in-depth
Yeah,
answer
that I
to a
hope you
very
guys
simple question.
I hope you guys are
So
taking notes because that's pure gold. And one of the things that my channel focus
it's not. This is being recorded right now, and you can find the replay here
right.
on YouTube.
Absolutely. One of the things that I try to focus on here on this channel is definitely to to communicate with newer creators. And a lot of people come in, they have the passion, but they may not be versed in how to make great content. So one of the things that I try to share is the concept of to continue forward, to be consistent. What I call it is grind and evolve, which is basically continue to make content, but don't just keep making content. Understand how to make your content better and make improvements over time so you can get to that point where you're making great content. So when you start to get your that attention from YouTube and the algorithm and in front of a wider audience, that they don't click away because it's content that that has value, that delivers value, whether that's entertainment or education or whatever it is. So don't despair if you're not immediately making excellent content that YouTube loves. If you're passionate about something and you continue to try to make those small improvements over time, you'll get there, and eventually YouTube will recognize it and get your content out to the people that are waiting to see it. So
Well,
absolutely
and two, it's being patient, but looking at your data. Like
right.
if you're getting a huge hockey stick effect where you're getting a ton of views at the beginning, but then your average view duration is only like 30%, you better improve your content because YouTube's not going to recommend your
Right.
video if it's at 30%. If 30% of the people started and finished. And the difference would be too, is looking at the indicator of like who's subscribed versus unsubscribed. Maybe your unsubscribes like at 10%. Instead of 30%. So
Right.
why would they actually promote a 10% average view duration when another channel that's similar that gets maybe 50?
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely. Yeah, and it's funny too because I'm an analytics junkie. That's one of the challenging thing is people don't often respond the best to analytics videos where you actually I try to include them and mix them in because I think they're important and I think there's a lot of value there. But yeah, analytics guys, knowing exactly how people are receiving your videos and how they're responding, like you said, whether they're watching the entire video or they're dropping off right away. If they are dropping off somewhere in the video, go and look at the video and see what's happening there, and make sure you you don't do whatever that was again. Those kind of things. I just want to jump in the chat real quick and recognize Shannon Vlogs. Thank you so much for the super chat. Thanks for having Derral on today, Dan. He's always got the best advice and shares it in an easy to understand way. Absolutely. Thank you so much, Shannon. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Shannon.
All right. And let's see what we got going. Oh, we got some questions rolling in here. All right. Let me take a look. We got Derral. Thanks for your videos. I find them helpful. In one, you were talking about building momentum from previous videos. Would you be amenable to briefly explaining that, please?
All right. So this is a presentation I actually gave at Vid Summit. And that was one of the, like, I give my best stuff at Vid Summit because it's my conference and I just, I don't hold back at all. I was able to share a case study of how channels are putting out content and then YouTube's going to, really promote something. And then when you realize, oh, maybe I should do a follow-up. What I usually teach is to always do series of videos. You're going to see more on my channel that I practice what I preach because, I'm shifting gears here, but ultimately it's like figuring out what's working and then making more content of it. So start thinking in a series of videos. But the strategy is this. If you have a good video that's performing really well, you do a follow-up video with that and you put it in a playlist, you use similar titles that's there. And as one video is performing, it's going to suggest more naturally that other video. And what we're trying to do is create the behavior of the first person watching. And this is why, the doing multiple videos in a series works really well, is because people are more likely to watch what's next, the next video in that playlist. And so having that together is a very big thing. And one thing that I can tell you, one of the individuals that went to Vid Summit that heard that, and then they got some other information that was presented there. They only had 1,000 subscribers when they went to Vid Summit, but the next year that they went was the following year. They had 1.1 million subscribers, and they're getting right around 60 million video views a month. And I can tell you right now that they even to this day they swear that they would have never connected the dots. Even if they bought the replays, they would have never connected the dots, because the other side of the conversation that was connecting the dots on some of that tactics was revealed by some bigger YouTubers, one having 5 million, the other one having 6 million, that were having a conversation with someone that had 1,000 subscribers. So
those are some great references to be able to get in on. So, yeah, and that's the thing, guys. When you're having conversations with people at VidSummit, it's not like they check your ID card and ask you.
no,
It's not like.
I think to answer the question, it's just like that's what you're trying to do. You're piggybacking off the traffic, and basically that traffic is triggering the suggestion, and that's all we're trying to do is get the number one traffic source on YouTube, which is suggestion. There's a lot of strategies and tactics, like I was saying, and you can get that from people that understand the platform, and not just the ones that teach. And there's a lot of people out there teaching, how to do things on YouTube, but it's getting the practitioners that actually have the data. Right. And they know what triggers. Like I could tell you right now, there's people that can run circles around me, and I want to learn from them, and I can run around circles around them on certain things from there. And so, right. It's more about sharing information and learning. And so, one of the biggest tips that I can give you from this tactic is, test it, try it, and then find other people that you can talk to and say, hey, how did you experience this? And having an open conversation, and maybe some of the things that they tried and tested, you can glean from to be able to test and try on your channel as well.
Absolutely. All right. And if you guys miss any of this, the replay will be up, so this will be a good reference for you. All right, let's see what we got here. Quite a few questions in there for you, Derral. So let's go to the next one here. I consider myself a vlog-style storytelling channel, and I've recently been playing with the idea of using the live stream function on YouTube. Do you think it's beneficial for someone with that style channel and content that also has a smaller, less than 300 subscriber following?
Live streaming interests me a lot, and you can mark it here. I've said it before, but I truly believe the next iteration of vlogging is going to split off and go two different directions. One direction will be storytelling vlogging, that's starting to take off right now. The other one is IRL, which is in real life live vlogging. You can mark my words that that's the direction where vlogging is going to go, and you'll be left behind if you don't do one style or the other. And these IRL stuff's going to be really big. I think the platform that you're going to see a lot of that happening is more on Twitch than on YouTube in the beginning. Mm-hmm. But YouTube actually has some really good live streaming abilities if you know how to tap into it. They did introduce premieres. Premieres is an ability to bring that live viewer in and then kind of push traffic off. That came from people like me that was using live streams to bring people on and then push to traffic from there. They listen to the community and they go from there. To grow on YouTube, there's several tactics. The thing I love about live is what Dan's doing here right now. He's connecting with you guys. I mean, there's 44 people right now that he's connecting with right now, but that doesn't even include the people that are going to watch it after tomorrow or the next day or the next week or the next month. But he's connecting with you on an emotional level that I truly believe where vlogs are needing to go. To stay relevant with the type of audience that consumes that type of content.
Absolutely.
Do I find I give the very longest answers to the most simple questions.
You know what?
Hello.
It's great stuff, and then I don't have to talk for the entire live stream, so that works just fine. I'm going to be taking notes on this live stream when I replay it. So Always great stuff. Let's see, we got here. Let's see.
Let me do a follow up. They said
Absolutely.
what's IRL style because I use terminology that some people don't understand.
Mm-hmm.
It's in real life, and so like a vlog would be live streaming, going to Comic-Con and live streaming your experience and taking people with you to experience Comic-Con with you live. And there's people where you can live stream it and it remotes and people can edit on the fly. I see that happening with the bigger creators and stuff like that.
Really?
But other, it's just more just you have a pack or a camera and you're just live, like right where you're at. That's what IRL is, in real life.
I think we're
So
looking at, was it Live View TV that does the backpacks that you can wear?
they actually do. Yeah, I
Yeah.
actually have a backpack.
That does not surprise me, Derral.
I wonder what I'm going to do with it.
Somewhere he's got a live streaming backpack right next to the Squatty Potty unicorn. Yeah.
No, I actually have something. Let me pull it up because it's you don't get my full frame here, but got a little Twitch pillow going on.
All right.
I wonder what's going on with that.
Hmm.
We'll see soon enough.
Inquiring minds. So you mentioned that that's going to be a thing on Twitch. Obviously, I mean, at least for those of us who don't use Twitch, historically it's been kind of a gaming platform. What type of things do you think that people are going to do? Obviously, they can't go to a live Comic-Con for every one of their videos. What other kind of content do you think they'll do in that live format?
In real life experiences, like
Yeah.
it's going to be connecting with you, doing whatever you do, like whatever you do in a vlog. I mean, that's you're just basically
Right.
doing the same thing, but you're just doing it live.
So do you think
You
that'll
know?
like bring in new people, or have the gamers that do on Twitch
No,
kind
no,
of
no.
expand?
I'm saying that I think that there will be a lot of people gravitating towards Twitch, since it's just a live stream first platform.
Gotcha. Right.
And there's certain things that work really well, and you'll see a lot of that happening. Like I think the IRL stuff will happen quicker there than it
Gotcha.
will on YouTube.
Right.
But what's going to happen, and I can guarantee it, it's like live is the future. We're live right now. It's the future of where the video is heading. You always have videos that you will upload. I don't see that ever going away, but the live interaction is taking it one step deeper into community involvement and growth that you just can't do, just through video itself. And so it takes it to a whole nother level. And so
Right.
I see this being a lot more in depth. And I see YouTube not being too far behind. They're like, we're doing a live stream here now. They've integrated a lot of tools this year. They have a lot coming up that we can't talk about that's coming out next year. So ultimately, at the end of the day, it's it's a very interesting world for live, and I think more that Facebook and Instagram and Snapchat, creates tools and starts to pull audiences. I think Twitch and YouTube will, continue to innovate and keep up. So
Absolutely. Next question we have here is, what program can a channel with just over 100 subscribers join or make money with? Many want 1,000+ subs.
say that again. So a channel.
It's basically a channel with 100 subscribers looking for ways to make money, and wondering how a channel of that size can do so, because he's saying that there's programs that the programs I've seen have actually been more than 1,000 subs to get involved with, like Grapevine and the other ones. But basically asking how to make money as a YouTube channel with 100 subscribers.
Look, at the end of the day, I've promoted channels that had 0 subscribers and was able to get 7 figures sponsorship deals by just sharing the vision of what we were going to accomplish. I started a new channel. I'm not going to name it because I don't want traffic that we don't necessarily need. But we started one, first part of June. We already had a brand deal since June, and we just barely started the channel. It took us 36 days to get to 1,000 subscribers, and now we're at like almost 6,000 subscribers from June. But we had a brand deal all locked in based off of showing some tests of what the content would look like, and talking how are you going to integrate the brand to become the hero, and letting them know that it would be the cheapest that they can do. And now they're even promoting the channel to our target audience, because that's the type of relationship you can do. So easy money to do that is be getting someone that would be able to pay to do brand integration right from the beginning. And then two would be looking at doing affiliate marketing, and doing affiliate sales, and looking how to actually make money that way. And it just really depends on what the channel's about. We're doing a case study at Vid Summit. I know I bring Vid Summit up a lot, but as we're just getting close to it, and it's like always on my mind. We're doing a case study where this guy's in college. This just blows me away, but he's pulling in $100,000 a month by putting out YouTube videos, but he's not making $100,000 a month on ad revenue. He's making $100,000 a month on being an Amazon influencer and making a percentage of the traffic that he actually sends there. And so that's a case study that we actually have, and he's still in college. And the crazy thing is, I was calling him because I'm helping him with the case study and stuff like that, so that he's positioned right and do all the stuff from there. And he's like, "Oh, I'm doing an internship. Like, I don't have time to talk to you. Like, let's figure it out. Let's make this work." Because he's still like, he doesn't believe it's real. This money. He's like doing an internship. Like if it was me, I would literally stop the internship, focus 100% on making money. You go from there. But he's like, I don't know if it'll last. I'm like, no, this is good. Like his ideas are great. And so for me, I think it's more about understanding where you're going, finding people that's willing to pay, or you can actually do some ways to go from there. Now, your question was, how do I actually go from 1,000 or 100 subscribers to 1,000 to go from there? I'm saying, don't even worry about those guys that are wanting 1,000. You can probably find someone that will pay a little bit of money to make content or motivate you. And once you actually do one, then it's easier to do two. Then it's easier to do three, because you actually have a case study you can show. Look what we were able to do. And it may be only a couple hundred views, but people, like, getting a couple hundred people looking at it, if it's the right people that they're trying to go after, and you're sending traffic, it doesn't take too much. Right. In fact, we had a case study a couple years ago at Vid Summit where this grandma that's in her 70s literally only had 10,000 subscribers, and she's pulling a couple million a year off of having the right 10,000 people watching her stuff, and the products that she was promoting and the products that she was pushing, and it was just great. So.
And again, this is the kind of stuff that you hear at Vid Summit that just blows your mind. And these are the people that you want to get FaceTime with, to talk to them and understand how they did it, because you're not even thinking on that level. And then, like you said, you encounter these people who are just absolutely killing it. And to be able to have a couple minutes to glean some insight from their process and how they're accomplishing that is super valuable. So.
Yeah, and I think too, Dan, like seriously, like, to grow on the platform, it doesn't matter what platform it is, your content needs to be good and it needs to resonate with someone. Mm-hmm. And that someone, you want to just have that someone start collecting more people. So there's like people like me, there are people like me in the world, believe it or not. We're not exactly the same, but we have the same interests, you know what I'm saying? And we start gravitating. We belong to the same things and stuff like that. And so YouTube's looking at the behavior of what happens. And what you need to do is, sometimes the biggest mistake that content creators make is they think their content's really good. But it's not necessarily, they're just making content. They're not thinking, well, who's going to be watching it? How will they be watching it? How can I make it better? And integrate from there. So we have a channel, and we just got a gold play button for this channel. Just the other day, I put it up on my video. Like, a lot of people think, they look at my channel like, oh, you have 500,000 subscribers, but you don't get a lot of views. I'm like, I don't really care that much about this channel. I got other channels that's making me a lot of money. I'd rather put all my attention and time in that. This is the way I can give back. But this gold play button we got, let me tell you the process that we were doing. So it's over a year old now. We were able to get well over 1 million subscribers, like 1.3 now or something like that. And then we're, pushing 1 billion video views on it. And the thing for me is, my editor that was editing the content took time, and this is part of the process that we do, to evaluate our content. Now, we have everything We have every analytic tool that you can even imagine looking at our data. And I know how to read it. I know what to adjust. I know what to do. And when I have control over the content, it just gets better. But there's one element that we can't see is how our audience reacts to the video. And so he went out and did a sample size of our target audience. He knows exactly who our target audience is. I made it very clear before we started. We know exactly what it is. And we went through this, basically had a camera on the audience itself watching the content. And it was astounding to see the interaction. And what we brought the team in to watch what was actually happening. And you can see how people react. It was literally different than what the analytics showed us. There's moments that we would have never known that was funny or engaging without seeing, a sample size of people actually watching it and engaging with it. And this is not something that they weren't forced to watch or anything like that. We wanted them to skip the video. We wanted them to do whatever. We want to see how long they'd actually stay on the video and how their reactions were. All we wanted to do is film their YouTube usage. And all we did was started out with one video that they actually started watching. We wanted to see how long they stayed on it, if they got disengaged, how they got disengaged, all that other stuff. And they were glued to that video. And I wasn't surprised at that. But what I was surprised is how they interacted with the video. And I'm not going into detail. Like, this is stuff that, like, it's like way high level. You guys don't need to worry about. It's like, look at your analytics, see what's there. This is just one step up from that.
Yeah, that's quite the process to be able to to get that kind of feedback. Has to be super valuable.
Well, look, seriously, at the end of the day, if you understood how lucrative this is, like, this is a very, very lucrative space that we're in. And just, like, you're talking, 60, 70 million views a month. Like, you guys have no idea how much money that is. You have no idea. And so to get better content, to do more better videos, it's in my best interest to make that happen. And just because if we have better content, then it just promotes us more. We promote it more, we get more views, we make more money, at the end of the day. And then two, we're able to integrate with brands better and stuff like that. There's a lot of case study type stuff. And so sample sizing, like, I got my degree in marketing, I know how important that is. I know how blind testing is, the whole approach. But ultimately, at the end of the day, is your content good?
Right.
Or does it suck? And at the end of the day, I can tell you this right now, like, I believe all content sucks until you understand the formula that resonates the audience you're trying to connect with. Let me give you an example. I know that there's tons of questions, but for those that don't know, I was the executive producer of the Squatty Potty pooping unicorn ad. So if you ever seen a unicorn poop rainbow sherbet ice cream, I do apologize. That was me. So I worked with the team at Harmon Brothers, and I was the executive producer with Jeffrey Carmen, who's one of the brightest minds in the industry. We worked on several projects. We have 2 projects that we're working on right now. We just love each other. But that project itself, you don't understand the depth of how much we test before we actually do anything, and test and test and test. Because why? Because if we had drop off in that video, which broke all rules of, like, seriously, all rules of advertising, it was way too long. Like, I literally showed it to industry experts, and they're like, "Oh, it's too long, too long." And I'm like, no, my gut says it's not. 4 minutes is not that long. If it's entertaining. And we literally broke the model of advertising. And what happened was that video had 92% of the people, 92.6 to be exact, percent of the people that started the video ended the video.
Wow.
And we did so much testing and so many things beforehand to know if it would actually work. And at the end of the day, it did. And even to this day, it gets really, really good audience retention, even though that it's like 2.5 years old, So that's what, if you're very serious. Now, a lot of you can't do this. I realize you can't do this. And so it's like taking a step back and saying, look, maybe twice a month that you're going to dig in, look at your analytics. You're going to look at, hey, how many impressions and click-throughs am I getting? What's my average view duration? Where, like, look at very specific videos. Why did these videos perform? Why didn't these videos perform? Looking at, is there a hockey stick, or is it just kind of a steady Eddie type approach? I just made that up, steady Eddie. I like that. But anyway, is it steady across that? How can I improve? What can I do? And then testing things and seeing what works, and then replicating. But just looking at your data maybe twice a month, and then just reevaluating your content strategy.
Yeah, definitely. Like you said, don't be afraid to test and try something a little bit different than what you've been doing, and see how your audience responds. One of the things that I've seen on this channel and my other channel is sometimes the videos that you don't like, you'll spend a lot of time on a video and it won't get the kind of response that you want, and then something that you feel like you threw together is one of your most popular videos. So, be willing to actually do some of those tests and make little changes. Don't just keep, do the cookie cutter videos and pop them out. Make little tweaks. Like I try to do things, and because I'm basically a talking head channel, so sometimes I'll mix in outtakes and those kind of things, or leave them in, and just do little things to see how the audience responds, and try to find what that sweet spot is, to keep people interested as deep into the video as possible.
Let me kind of elaborate on that a little bit. So we had a new hire, and they came on, and they have a lot of background with video and stuff like that. And they're like, no, your edits are just all wrong. It's just like too cutty, it's too choppy and stuff like that. And I says, well, number one, you don't know what the hell you're doing. And number two, this is what our audience wants, and I'll show you the retention on it. I go ahead and cut a video how you want, because I don't want to have this argument for forever. Go ahead and cut a video you want, and I'll put it up. And we did. The audience retention on that was about 26%, where the other videos that we had was about 75% audience retention. I mean, 75% of the people started it, finished it, and at the end of the day, he goes, "Oh, okay." I didn't have to argue at that. I'm willing to do it, but guess what we did with that video? We deleted that faster than you can imagine.
Yeah,
it was just so fast.
You really have to, to that end, and like the jump cuts and those kind of things, you really have to accommodate for people's really short attention spans. So it's like every so many intervals, change up the scenery to keep them interested, so they just don't fade off and wander to another video.
So Nicole Life's asking a question about my channels. We own several channels, and not just one or two or three. We have several that are over millions of subscribers, stuff like that. It's not just one for there. Just to answer this, it is real. I'm not making this up. In fact, let's just do this. I just hide stuff in my office. So here is the gold play button.
Breaking out some hardware.
Here, I don't really care. Like, it doesn't for me. I don't care about this. That's just the plaque, right? And I can't share. I can't share channels because of the nature of what I do. Like, I'm an agency. I get paid to help people. I get a percentage, generally a percentage when I do that. And so that's a very big deal for me. And then two, if someone knew my channels, there's a lot of sabotage and things that could hurt me financially and my family. And I'm just like, for me, I don't even like when my employees come on, they have a very, very hard NDA, non-compete, that they sign. I don't want that getting out to get the people that are haters and just trying to destroy. In fact, it's just really funny. The other day, I got a copyright takedown notice from YouTube from someone trying to take me down on my Derral Eves channel about how to report copyright problems.
I saw that.
It was the funniest thing ever. But in the nature of what I do, like, if I wasn't teaching people how to do things on YouTube, then I would be more than happy to share what I'm doing. But now I'm known as the industry expert. I get asked to speak and train, and then they're like, oh, this is what he's doing or whatever. And they either copy me or try to destroy what I'm doing. So
makes sense. Absolutely. Let's see here. I just want to jump in the chat here real quick. I saw a couple here. Got Old Geezers Gaming out there. I'm at work with my Creator Fundamentals t-shirt on. Awesome. I appreciate it. Let's see. Got the Geeky Drinkers out there. bunch of new people that I haven't seen before. Some familiar faces. Sure Productions, Audrey's Adventures, loves Darrell's channel.
Thank you.
Your Real Estate Whisperer. I hate my most popular channel. That's unfortunate. Your most unpopular channel or your most video? Most popular channel, it says. All right, let's grab another question here. You know, I didn't realize I had my AC on the background until it turned off, and now it's like ridiculously silent back here. What is a good percentage of CTR, click-through rate?
Okay, so I would assume that question's for me, since
Yep, RPM Nexus. Yeah,
and I'm very opinionated.
Yeah.
Okay, so listen, CTR, what's good is whatever you're getting, and you can get better. And it's very different for different creators, different channels. Like you'll get actually a higher click-through rate on kid and family channels because they, just kid just hits. And, if you ever watched a kid surf YouTube, you'll get higher click-through rates. You just got to grab their attention and so on and so forth. But at the end of the day, it does change per the type of viewer that you're getting in the audience. And like some of like the highest that I ever get, and this is actually YouTube recommending like 99% of that video, having that, there's an indicator of impressions. And then the next line under that, it shows how much YouTube's recommending it. Like the highest that I ever got was like 25.2%, click-through rate, which is like ridiculous on some things. I think some average vlogger, and these are people, when I say average, that we're talking about million plus 5 million, they're happy with anything double digits, so like 10%, 11%. They're really ecstatic for 13 or higher. But for me, I'm always on a quest to get the highest that I possibly can, because once you do that, that triggers YouTube to look at your content differently. But keep in mind that the more that YouTube promotes your content, the lower your click-through rate will be. And what that means is it's sampling out to other audiences that it's just testing out. And what YouTube's looking at, it's very, very complicated. I advanced training for private, stuff. And and it's not that I'm keeping it from you guys. It's just like, this is part of my presentation at Vid Summit. But there's ways that YouTube systematically looks at your content and figures out, at this stage of the video, where is that percentage based on similar videos in the genre, similar size, and is yours better than theirs? Like if they're looking to promote two videos, and one video has at that stage a higher click-through rate and a higher average view duration than the other video, of course they're going to do the one that actually has the highest average view duration and the highest click-through rate. So knowing that the more that YouTube promotes it, your click-through rate is going to go down is something that is an indicator that you need to look at. And that is my keynote address at Vid Summit. I've been working on it for a solid year. And I have a lot of case studies that's going to literally blow your mind on that. And I'm not sharing it until then.
Just a reminder.
I just shared a lot of the information that'll be, it's not backed up by data. So, and it might be something that you never, ever get until you actually see me present it. So,
right. October 9th, Vid Summit. If you can make it there, I highly recommend that you do. If for some reason you can't make it there, there's also a virtual ticket available. So definitely go to vidsummit.com and check it out. There's also a link in the description of this live stream. But look into it. See if you can make it happen. When I went last year, it didn't seem initially feasible, but I made it happen, and the growth that I've been able to experience in the past year has been noticeable. So definitely worth it if you're serious about it. I would strongly recommend either trying to get there in person or looking at that virtual ticket. So let's see what we got out there in the chat real quick here, rolling in on the first hour. Beanie Draws, we had Alex Fishing. Vid Summit is going to be amazing. Yeah, Alex, he's going to be there for, I think this is his first Vid Summit. Looking forward to it. And that's another thing. You get a lot of people, the people that are going out to Vid Summit. There's people that you create relationships with online, and then you get the opportunity to actually meet them in person. Just as an example, and you may have seen this on Twitter, but last year at Vid Summit, I was standing 2 feet from a table that had a panel of Nick Nimmin, Brian G. Johnson, Roberto Blake, and Owen Video. So, I mean, if you guys follow the educators in this niche, many of them are going to be there, and it's an opportunity to get FaceTime with them, and as well as other people that just have a wealth of knowledge to share. So, let's see here. Beanie Draws. My plane ticket alone will cost more than the ticket itself.
That's why we have the virtual ticket, my friend.
Yeah. Virtual tickets, definitely an option. And I'll try to do like I don't know if the seating's going to be the same, but last year the ticketing was a little bit different. So I worked my way. I started in the middle of the audience, and by the end of the Vid Summit, I was sitting in the front row. Just slowly worked my way up as seats became available, because I wanted to make sure I collected. I came out with like 2 notebooks worth of notes. So a lot of great stuff.
Dude, are you serious? Or are you not making that up?
No, I mean, I write kind of big, but yeah, I seriously, I got to the front row.
Like 200 font size or something like that?
Well, I tend to write in thoughts, not in paragraphs, so I'll make little, that's kind of the way, I operate. But yeah, and then I took that stuff back, and some of it I was able to share with my audience at the time, and give them some nuggets. So yeah, great experience. Tom DeSico said he got the virtual ticket last year, and he will be there in person this year.
I'm excited for Tom. This is gonna be great. I'm actually gonna pick him up at the airport. Did you hear about that?
Oh no, I did not.
I'm his Uber driver, man.
Oh, there you go.
He's a rock star. Yeah. So, all right, let's get to the questions. Enough of Vid Summit stuff. I think people are ready for questions.
So Old Car Auto Guy asks, when should I start branding? I have my thoughts on this, but what do you think?
Why not? Like, I've been answering a lot. Do you want me to? You want to take it first, and then I can
absolutely. I mean,
you're wrong.
Yeah, right. I don't want to answer first, because then Darrell's going to go, not exactly. My personal take on branding is that it's never too early to do it. When I did this channel, or when I was planning this channel, obviously I've gone through a lot of branding iterations on this, but I came up with the channel, the focus of the channel, what it was going to be about, and then I came up with a plan on how I wanted to get everything to work together. So that included, my channel art and my thumbnails, the presentation that the way I presented the content on my channel, which thank God has gotten a lot better since when I started. But I don't think it's ever too early to start thinking about creating the image that you want to present. To that end, I did that. One of the other things that I always suggest is when you're thinking about branding, like even your channel name, to do a little research on the channel name. One, see if there's a lot of other people out there that have the same name. If not, go to all the other social platforms and make sure that particular name is available. Even if you don't plan on operating on those other platforms, secure it now, so when you decide you want to expand to Twitter, somebody hasn't taken the name. So that was my personal approach. I secured the name Creator Fundamentals on YouTube. I went and got the URL. I created my Twitter handle and Instagram and everywhere, on Facebook, created a Facebook group, all to kind of build that brand as I went along. Of course, the one thing that did bite me, even though I tried to plan for it, is that Twitter had a maximum length handle limitation, so I couldn't actually get Creator Fundamentals because it had too many characters. But
just do Creator Fun.
I actually did Creator Fundies, because when I played baseball in college, we used to call them Fundies, as in fundamentals. So I ended up going Creator Fundies on Twitter. But tell me where I've gone wrong, Derral.
No. Look, at the end of the day, branding is key. Branding is very important. I don't know if you guys know, like for me, like I have a certain brand that I do. Like I'm always in a t-shirt. It's always black. Like that's just the way that it is. Sometimes it has lettering on it. Sometimes it doesn't. Like that's kind of who I am. I look slimmer in black. I look more handsome. Yeah, no, but it's all branding. Like at the end of the day, it's branding, and people associate it with. when I wear a different color shirt, they're thrown off. People that know me, like, I didn't know that you had any other color than black. That's
Yeah.
kind of a thing. But with channels that I've worked with and created, like creating a branding guide, with this new channel that we started, I have partners. Like, we were very specific on the colors and what the logo looked like, the placement of the thing, how we're actually going to brand our thumbnails, so it has a similar feel, but not, yes, set a repetitive feel. And it was very specific of the music that we're going to use in the videos and the pacing, like all that is branding. And so
Mm.
it's good to actually take a step back and to go through some ways to improve your branding if you don't, and look at how you can improve. So give you a very specific thing. In the middle of August, I'm going and locking myself in an Airbnb with my partners, that we're starting a project, and all we're doing for 48 hours is branding. Like, that's how important it is, because we need to understand what image is portrayed and the way that it feels, and we need to be all on the same page. And so at the end of the 48 hours, we should have a branding guide put together, because this is not a small project. We're talking at several $1,000,000 that we're doing, and this is a very, very important part of it, is understanding how we, like, and this is literally a part of the branding guide of how we represent ourselves online as a brand, and what that actually looks like, what we can do, what we can't do, what we won't do, won't we, or we won't compromise, and then how everything looks. And so I know that's a very complicated thing, but it's the same with the YouTube channel. It's like, look, there's specific branding guides that you can do, and the specific look in a specific way, and you can change it. That's the lovely thing about it. As your audience evolves and you're getting more data, you can start saying, oh, this didn't work, this did, and you can modify it along the way. But you just got to be consistent as much as you can with the way that you are, the way that you present yourself, and the way your content's received online. That's all, like, that's audience development 101.
Absolutely. Next question is from Beanie Draws. Can you submit a question asking if $200 a month for unlimited mobile Wi-Fi is a good deal? Looking for an alternative to my 12.1 internet speed.
So he's asking for internet advice. I can tell you what, you guys in Australia, I feel your pain, man. Like, I went there last year, and I am so sorry for your internet. Like, I went to upload a video, and it said 48 hours before it would actually upload. I'm like,
Oh.
dude, I can do that in 2 minutes at my office. And they're like, welcome to our world, man. This is the other side of the world, man. Like, oh crap.
Yeah,
What do I do?
that's that.
Go to an Apple store and go from there. They got good, like, everybody's like going to the Apple store or Starbucks that have good internet, and that's where they actually upload their YouTube content. So
Yeah, so he's asking if $200 a month unlimited mobile. I mean, I don't know how that compares to the actual internet speed that you're getting. 12.1 sounds pretty painful. But interesting question, because that's actually something that I just went to and switched to unlimited, because my other channel is a RV camping channel, and I'm always out in the woods, and it's really easy to burn through data out in the woods. So one of the things that I just did to do that, so I could upload videos from the woods. Yeah, I mean, I think that's kind of if you have a need to that, or whether or not the mobile Wi-Fi is going to be faster than your 12.1 internet speed, I guess is kind of a factor in that as well. But
the internet speed for me is really important. I actually have a dedicated line. It's not shared bandwidth at all.
mhm.
Like, for me to upload, I had a YouTuber that just moved into our neighborhood, and big YouTuber, and he's like, hey, my internet's not up, can I use your internet? And he came over, and he's like, holy cat, like, I literally uploaded 5 videos in like 30 seconds.
Ugh.
And I downloaded all these videos in about 30 seconds. He goes, what type of connection you have? I says, well, we have a peer-to-peer, and it's like 300 up, 300 down, and we do not have anyone competing with our bandwidth. We're not sharing it. And
Wow.
so it's a direct line. He's like, I need that. And I told him the amount that we were paying. He's like, I'd still pay for that for the speed. So yeah,
You
it's
know,
good.
that's interesting because it seems like there's an awful lot of YouTubers in your area.
Well, like, okay, so Utah is definitely well known. And I want to talk about this. This will help how to actually grow a YouTube channel. How it all started was in northern Utah. I live in southern Utah. I'm about an hour and 40 minutes away from Las Vegas. But how it all started was there was this company called Orabrush, and they actually made a commercial, and that commercial took off. It was actually selling a lot of product. The executive producer that I was with Squatty Potty, and I've worked on several projects. Well, the person that was doing it is the same person. His name's Jeffrey Harmon. And so he actually introduced advertising in a new way on YouTube. And guess who he convinced to go and film the video for $100? And we're talking, this is a commercial, so on and so forth. Just take a guess, Dan. Like, think of a YouTube, like someone that's well known on YouTube that shoots video, like is like one of the OGs of YouTube. Guess who that was?
Casey Neistat.
Not Casey Neistat.
Oh.
It was Devin Supertramp, Devin Graham, and he convinced Devin to actually shoot the video for $100 because he was his roommate. Says, "Hey, I know you're into video," and Devin watched this thing explode, and how much money, because he was close and he was shooting another video. He's like, oh, I wonder if I can put my video content on there. So he decided to pull everybody to have a meeting. They did it in a basement. There was 31 of us that was there. And he's like, hey, this is going to be a big thing. Let's take a look at what we can do. Let me tell you who's in the room. It was Devin Supertramp, Lindsey Sterling. I mean, the list goes on. I mean, literally all the OG YouTubers of YouTube. From Utah area, Utah mountain area.
Oh.
That's where they all started. So I was there. I was working. Well, this is before the piano guys, but I was there just because I just love video and so on and so forth. But it's like getting everybody in the space. They look at the opportunity. And then it was all about collaborating and sharing information. Started a YouTubers group called YouTubers, but with Utah YouTubers, like UT tubers. And it became super huge. And once people were able to see success and they were able to collaborate, they just started to grow. So the number one area in the world for YouTube is LA. The number two, do you want to take a guess where that's at, my friend?
I'm thinking it's in Utah.
Yeah, it's in Utah.
It seems like every time I hear about a big YouTuber, it seems like they come out of Utah. So I was starting.
Yeah, no, like seriously, and we're just interesting folk here in Utah, and but anyway, I live in the southern end of the state, and so there was only like 3 YouTubers down here: myself, the piano guys, and Aspen and Parker. They have a vlogging channel, and when I say there's other YouTubers, but there are 3 big ones. And I would always convince when people want to do consults with me, like I'll either travel them or they travel to me. A lot of them will travel down and just make a weekend out of it or whatever. And they fell in love, and I'm like, hey, dude, this is like the most amazing place. Like I can literally fly out, be in Los Angeles in 45 minutes. I could be anywhere in the world from either Los Angeles, Salt Lake, Denver, or Phoenix. They're like, oh my gosh, this is great. Plus my commute like literally is like non-existent. It's like there's no traffic, there's no nothing. When you go to the movie, you don't have to wait in line. When you go to dinner, you don't have to wait. It's just amazing. And they're like, oh, this is super cool. So a lot of big YouTubers are now moving here. There are now 5 additional than that have well over 1 million subscribers. There's others that are doing it. So I'm trying to get my own my own YouTubers group of just premium YouTubers here in Southern Utah.
It's like the Tech Valley of YouTubers out
there.
there.
That's right. That's what we want. So that's kind of the story behind that. But like the whole thing about it, if you want to grow, it's about who you know and collaborating. I'm telling you right now, collaboration is key to growth. You're either gonna grow through trends or collaboration, or better yet, trends with collaboration. That's key, because if you can piggyback off of someone's audience, that's just huge.
Yeah. I see the collaborations and just how much they can influence and kind of drag over the similar audience to a channel.
Yep.
But now you guys have heard it here. If you want to be a movie star, head out to Hollywood. If you want to be a YouTuber,
Go to Utah.
head over to Utah. So, just real quick, TUBEBUDDY is in the chat. We TUBEBUDDY are super excited to be at Vid Summit again this year. Got to meet Dan the Man in person there last year for the first time. Awesome to meet you guys as well.
They better have good swag this year. Like guys from TubeBuddy, I still need my sunglasses here. I'm waiting. I'm wanting. Hopefully, we have good swag because, like, I think there was one year you did, and I was so busy I couldn't grab a pair, and I still don't have TubeBuddy sunglasses.
They alluded to it that they might have some this year. So
I'm hoping, like, that's what they're known for. It's like, hey, they're even my color too. It's like black. So
I was able to snag some sunglasses last year, but awesome to have you guys in the stream. And just as a reminder, guys, real quick, make sure I don't break this. Just a reminder that this video is sponsored by TubeBuddy. TubeBuddy is the #1 browser plugin for managing and growing your YouTube channel. It's available to download for free, and there is a link in the description below.
Man, that sounds like a really, like, I don't think I've ever done that.
No.
I always said, I love the tool, just use it. The end. Amen. That's all it is.
Yeah, it's the that's my jam right there. That's the
yeah, I'll tell you what, TubeBuddy is like, it saves me more time. You have no idea. Like, I do the craziest things with TubeBuddy. Like I talk with Phil a lot, and I'm like, I just do the most nuts type of things, and he's like, oh, that's weird. Like, that's what I do. That's what I love. Like, if you had any idea of half of what I use TubeBuddy for, it just saves me hundreds of hours, man hours. Just because of that tool, it is 100% worth it. Don't if you don't have it, literally click on that link and get it for free. And then you'd be very, 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 very wise to get that legend account, because that gives you the ability to do split testing, A/B testing, and wait till you see my presentation at Vid Summit for that. Like that, yeah, it's off the charts. Like, if you had any idea how powerful that tool is. So.
Yeah, I do. I have the legend. The A/B testing is great. There are all kinds of features. The thing that really saves me a ton of time is the mass replace on things. Being able to edit your video or your descriptions in bulk and that kind of stuff. So
you edit your description in bulk?
I have, yeah.
Oh my gosh, that you're brave, man. I've never done that.
I'm a rebel, Derral.
Oh,
Despite that, yeah.
I'm speechless. Seriously, like, that's one thing I would never do.
Yeah, I've gotten that. Yeah, but
have you noticed like any issues with that, like, at all?
No, not. And I mean, obviously, I'm not dealing in millions and millions of views, but no, adding something. It's typically like appending something to the bottom of a description. As long as I'm not removing stuff or changing the thing of the video, I haven't noticed any negative impact on it.
Okay.
So,
like, I'm just I
get it.
I
when
know what it does.
Yeah.
Like, there's a big warning. Hey, if you change this, it's going to come out of search. I understand how it works.
Right.
I know a lot of people are now doing tagging and stuff like that, with their hashtags and stuff like that. You have one here in this video.
Yeah, and I didn't originally start that way. I actually did. I like took a video and tested it, and for those kinds of things to make sure that it didn't negatively alter the video.
Yeah.
And
I just a hyper advanced tip. So you can group things in analytics, and you can start seeing what's performing, what's not performing.
Mm-hmm.
And we have some channels that have thousands of uploads, and so when you're dealing with that nature of it, it takes a while. If anyone wants to update anything, it does not trigger anything if you change out your thumbnail or your card or your end screen element. You can change that on the fly, and it's not going to affect some stuff there. But the reality is I always look to see what's not performing, and then I have no problem modifying that. But I haven't been. It's been a while, and that's a great question. Like I have a lot of great contacts at YouTube specifically. I would like to test it on a channel that gets millions of views a month. I'm paranoid. Yeah.
I would definitely be paranoid. Luckily, or unluckily, I don't have that problem yet. Yeah, so I intentionally tested a video that was, because I obviously, like I said, when I first started doing the YouTube thing, I followed, yours was the first channel I followed, and I used to, I used to live by that rule. And then one day I'm like, I'm curious. So I didn't do it. I didn't do it on my most popular videos, but I wanted to see exactly, if there was any noticeable blip for those kind of things. I've always avoided, taking away stuff. But like earlier on in my videos, I used to have the overall message or sub tagline on my content has changed over time as I've kind of evolved it. So I've like mass changed the hashtag at the end of them, and after I saw that those individual videos weren't negatively affected, and I didn't notice any change. But again, I'm not dealing in millions of views, so I obviously had a little bit less stressing in pulling the trigger. So.
Yeah, well, and like that, I would be more apt to try it on that. But I think the true difference would be is YouTube is affected by your traffic source, and so like if you get a whole bunch off of search, what I assume that your channel and other channels like this would get, like that can affect your results. Like I do know that. It can pull you out and it reevaluates it in a way, but maybe the AI is getting smart enough that it does just totally disregards all that data anyway. Once it has that data that it looks to promote it. But the traffic source that I would be worried about is not necessarily suggestion, because I think you could be okay with that, but the traffic source I would be search.
Right.
And I like I'll reach out. That'll be a question, because that'd be a question that I'd need to ask. I did used to do it, and I noticed a significant drop when we were switching out just URLs in all of it for promotional stuff, and it was so noticeable. Like it was like I did it, and just when real time analytics. Like that's what I watch. I just watch real time when I do it, and I just noticed that it started to tank. I'm like, what the freak was going on? That's when I'm like, okay, I got to stop. Like that. Like I just noticed the pattern when I do it. It wasn't necessarily the video or anything else, because it was across the board. It was across our highest performing stuff. So it took a while before it would actually come back. It took about 48 to 48 hours, 48 to 72 hours. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So
I've definitely seen it happen if you touch the title. Where it'll kind of, depending on, in an effort to take a video that wasn't performing as well as I think it could have, I took a title and moved and kind of re-optimized it to same concept, but just a little bit different wording in terms of what people were actually searching for. And in that case, I had it drop. It dropped off the first page. For I think like 2 or 3 days, and then pop back up in there with the.
Did it go to the same spot before?
Ultimately, same general. I wasn't that exact, but it was like top.
Being an analytics guy,
it was like top 10. Well, I honestly I watched it for a while. When I saw it get back to the first page, I wasn't. You weren't
worried about it?
No, I was. Yeah, it wasn't like a.
Okay, so here's the thing: if you're gonna do it again, please document it for me. Like,
absolutely,
that information. Like I would like to see like real time. Like take a screenshot before and after, and then also take a screenshot of your traffic sources. For the next 48 hours and stuff like that. I'd really like to see that.
Yeah, I'll definitely do that. I'm willing to potentially sacrifice.
And for me, I want everyone to know, even though that YouTube tells me things that it's okay to do, doesn't necessarily mean it's okay to do. Like they'll sometimes they just say it just to say it. There's one person, there were a couple people that I trust, that they just won't deceive me at all, and they'll tell me how it is. And like I'll reach out to them and have an answer. I'll do a video on it if it's different. Like there's no point of being paranoid that something changes. Like part of my presentation at VidCon is YouTube is now disregarding the meta information in minutes instead of days, and so maybe they're not even like maybe it's not reevaluating. I got to ask a little bit further to see where that's at for sure.
So here's an interesting question that has been or has recently been a topic of conversation that certain people have disagreed on. Tags. Yeah. So
Tim Schmoyer
it's well
with Todd, right?
Yeah, Tim Schmoyer went tags don't matter. Creator Insider kind of went tags don't matter. Obviously there's a lot of things that are focused
I think
that.
people are perceiving what Todd was saying differently than what he was actually saying.
Well, ultimately, I think it was
context. They took 15 seconds of what he said and didn't listen to the rest of the video that he talked about. So I don't know, but go ahead, ask your question. Like, so the people that haven't watched it, they don't even know what you were talking about. So go ahead.
Yeah. So basically, the scenario was Todd the gentleman who was in Creator Insider, or is that I don't know that.
Yeah. So that was who Tim actually interviewed. Todd's.
Oh right.
Like seriously, out of all the people in the world that you need to listen to, yeah. And the reason why I say that is because he's actually the project lead for the search and discovery team. So he's the project manager for the people that actually tell the AI what to do.
Yeah, I mean, ultimately what they were saying was that obviously thumbnail and title are the most important by far. But in subsequent live streams that Tim Schmoyer did, he passed it off as them not really mattering. And it was interesting because just the other day in the new interface on YouTube, in YouTube Studio, they had like a little knowledge blurb about what's important, and they really dove into the importance of the description and how YouTube uses the description, to try to kind of keyword load your description and that sort of thing. But I think some people were taking that particular conversation and the subsequent references to it as tags aren't that important as something that they shouldn't spend time on.
So here's the thing, and I'll just make it clear. This is my opinion, and you can listen to who you want. I focus in on the content, and I made it clear what the content is, which is the title, the thumbnail, the video, and the description.
Mm-hmm.
I do focus on tags because tags is a way to search. If you look in this video right now, you're able to see how to grow a YouTube channel, how to grow a YouTube channel in 2018, how to grow a YouTube channel easy, how to grow a YouTube channel fast, how to grow a YouTube channel. These are searchable keywords that are going to be found when someone's actually actively looking for that type of content. Now, if you're getting like from a YouTube perspective off of YouTube recommending your content, then they're not looking at that. The search is search. Discovery is through YouTube recommendations. So that's two different animals. And how you prep a video to be found in search versus how do you prep a video to be discovered are two separate things. And for me, you don't put as much emphasis on tags as you would your title. People have been tagging. That's the most important thing. Well, no, it's not the most important thing. It never has been. Like what the most important thing is your title and your thumbnail, and then your content, and then your description, and then your tags, and the order of the tags. It does make a difference. But a lot of people spend a lot of money, energy, and time on tagging. If tagging did not have an effect on YouTube, then tags wouldn't set off getting your video demonetized.
So they're definitely
like you can literally see, you might get demonetized because of this tag. Why in the world would that occur if YouTube's not looking at that tag? It is looking at it, but where it prioritizes of it, how it uses it. Let's say that you have, let's just put it in proper perspective. You have video A and video B. Video A is your video, Dan, and video B is my video. Okay. And we have identical title, identical description, from a percentage base, not necessarily an exact match, but
Right.
say
Yep.
it has similar types of content and so on and so forth,
Mm-hmm.
similar types of keyword density and stuff like that. Okay, we're talking really high tech, right?
Yeah.
And we have similar impressions and similar click-through data. Okay, so that's all the same. And then we also have the same amount of size of video within 5 seconds or so, and we have the same amount of average view duration. Okay, the only difference would be is my tagging structure versus your tagging structure based off of how YouTube's going to recommend that. Okay, because if we had all that identical, then YouTube's going to promote it the same from that perspective.
Mm-hmm.
But what if I'm getting more search traffic that has a different rate of click through and so on and so forth? Because if you notice, your traffic sources are done. You can get click through rate through the traffic sources. You can see which one's more effective.
Mm-hmm.
But what if mine is actually more effective in search, but also more effective in another traffic source, which would be external? What if mine's more effective in that? Isn't that one last indicator that YouTube would say, oh, the AI would say, oh, these videos are the same, but this one's a little bit better. Let's push that out a little bit more.
Right. Yeah.
Like, from a understanding the algorithm AI point of view, look, at the end of the day, how we get discovered and how it's consumed is the number one traffic, the
Right.
number one that you need to focus in on. And far too many people are misleading, saying, no, your tagging is for growth, but tagging is so far down the totem pole
Right.
that it doesn't make that much of a difference, but it can make a difference when it's joining stuff together off of content. So,
and what I mean, the thing that popped into my head and kind of the perspective that obviously is the larger channels are working a lot more on suggested content and recommended content versus a channel that might be starting without the knowledge to launch a channel from that perspective to understand how to get videos and high retention and everything. So it seemed to me that they were kind of focusing on a larger channel as the default of how that information was being presented, and Creator Insider, when they did their video on it, they didn't spend enough time on it or elaborate on it. It was like a 45-second thing where they said myth busted, tags don't matter, and kind of set everybody into a frenzy. So from my perspective is because the content or the people that I try to share content with are in the process of learning how YouTube works and how to make good content. Keyword research is a way for them to, or tags in addition, because the way I share it is that your tag research allows you to set up a proper, or to build a title that helps your video get found, and it's easy to see some results as a small channel that way. So just from a mental standpoint of seeing the ball slowly start to roll, whereas somebody trying to focus on suggested who has no concept of how that works, sitting at 2 views on a video.
At the end of the day, when they take away the feature to actually add tags, then I'll stop adding tags.
Yeah, exactly. And
from a platform perspective, if it doesn't make a difference, then why do you have that feature? YouTube turns features off all the time and dissolves features. Like, until they do that, I will always do tags, regardless of what any talking head says. Not saying that they're super important. It's the only way you can be discovered. No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying that it's lower on the totem pole, like a lot lower on the totem pole. It's all about the content. Right. And I already said the content is the thumbnail, the title, the video, and the description, and then it's so further down. But at the end of the day, they would not do community strikes for anyone that's using spam tags. Like, there are people to this day that they get community strike because they're spamming their tags, or they put a channel name in their tag when it's not related to their content and it has nothing to do with it. It's just they're trying to get stuff. Like, until that community, like the policy team says, no, that's okay anymore, or they get rid of that feature, I'm going to continue to do what I'm doing. So.
Absolutely. Agree 100%. So awesome to get your perspective on that. And let's see, jump into some more questions here.
Tech guy IT, don't tag to death down to the last character. Just don't look over spammy or over desperate. Just keep it under 400 characters. Even though you have 500 doesn't mean you need to do 500 characters. Like, be very specific. The more laser specific your video is about, do that. Like, that's what I would do. So that's what I do.
Okay. This is a lighthearted question. Is it true that a brick background is what's hot right now for live streaming?
I don't know. I think you got your brick background at Home Depot, and so did
Home
I.
Depot or Lowe's? Yeah, exactly right. That is the way to go. Let's see who else we got. That was.
You like my mug? You got this. Let's see.
Oh,
Do I
nice.
need to go this way with it?
Nice.
There you go. No.
Oh, I have my TubeBuddy one here, but I don't have it on my desk at the moment. Where does?
That's one thing I don't have: sunglasses and a TUBEBUDDY mug.
See? Oh man, Derral, they got to
I'm like totally missing out on this thing.
got to hook you up. They got to get you a nice black TubeBuddy T-shirt. Then it would just.
Yeah, I do have that. They do have my
yeah.
size. Yeah, that's one thing I have.
Derral, we know that this is from Matt Ergel, Airborne Surfer. We know that upload every day is the mantra for growth. What would you suggest for maker channels that require more production time for builds?
Okay, so first off, that was last year's information. And the year after that, you get a lot of creators that, or I'm sorry, experts that will say, hey, you need to do this. And then everybody thinks, oh, that's what it is. I just gave a 30-minute presentation. I was the only one to do it from the main stage of the industry that was outside of a YouTube employee / whatever at VidCon. I felt very honored to do that. I just gave a presentation where vidIQ was able to give me access to 10,000 channels to just disprove how YouTube's looking at that. And right now, I can tell you right now, I had channels that we owned that we uploaded 3 times a day. We did cut that back to like 5 times a week, just based off of the data that we were getting. Now we could even cut it back further and we'd be okay, because the views now of how YouTube's actually suggesting it, which the number one traffic source on YouTube is suggested videos or YouTube recommendations. They're doing that more on the tail end of your content. So it's what they call evergreen. So, content that's older 120 days, 45 to 120 days to even a year, you're going to see a lot of traffic on that. That's continually bringing you views. So you don't need okay. You got to ask me the question again, but I was like going off of, you don't need to actually upload daily anymore. That's not a consistent thing.
Yeah, and he was basically just asking for, he's a maker channel and he does his videos. I'm familiar with him. I know him and have seen his videos, and he does really good in-depth analysis on. He did a very popular video on, I think it was like brand name batteries versus generic, and he did all kinds of scientific tests and stuff to see which one was better, and he eventually proved that they were both from the same identical factory. They were just charging twice as much for one of them, but I think his videos just take a long time to produce, so he was asking whether it's necessary for him to upload more often, and if you're making good quality, I would think that you're, obviously that video was a great example for him, which drove a lot of traffic to his channel. So,
like to answer that, like the higher quality, the less you can produce. I'd rather, upload not as much, and just make sure that you put more in promotion for it. Some of the bigger YouTubers that have that type of review type of stuff, they only release once or twice a week. Some of them are 3 max, maybe. Mm-hmm. But look at here's a power tip for everybody. Like, literally find the channels that are getting a ton of views and have a ton of subscribers that's in your niche, and find 20 of those. And if you can't find 20, then spend some more time on YouTube finding them, because they're out there, and start seeing how often they post, and look at your biggest ones first. Like, seriously, you don't have to do it every day. And those that did it every day are now scaling back because they notice that they don't have to do it anymore. YouTube's really concerned with YouTuber burnout. That's like, they have to keep 3 audiences in balance, which is the viewer, the advertiser and the creator, and there's no necessarily any particular order that they give more attention and time to, except for I know they give the viewer more time than anybody else. From my perspective, that's the biggest concern that they have. But they are doing a lot with creator fatigue and issues of depression and insanity, because there's people who have been working solid for 7 years that have never taken a break.
Yeah.
They feel like they can't, and
Right.
now they can, because what's happening is, even with daily vlogs, there's people are like, there's channels out there that they get more views on the 120-day content than they do in the last 30 days. And so that, what I mean by that is the older content is getting all the views in the given month, instead of releasing videos every day to do that. So
now, do you think YouTube in the background made any type of changes to change the way it rewards that frequency?
100%. That was my presentation at VidCon that I was able to collect. So if you haven't seen that, it's on my channel. It's 3 minutes, I think, or 4 minutes, the video that I just uploaded. I have a series of videos, because that's what we do right now. We do a series of videos. I'm not doing a longer form 30-minute, just throw it up there. I'm going to put like 4 or 5 videos that I put up on my channel that consistently tell the thing, and then I'll upload the 30-minute one. So you'll get everything.
Nice.
But it's there. So, and then 2, those that are in my private training group, you have access to that. So
nice. All right, let's try to squeeze some more questions in here. We have McCann dog training. Is there any advantage to having transcriptions added before publishing your video for added SEO value for the algorithm?
Okay, so here's my my policy on transcription. Well, getting a closed caption, right? It's really, 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 really important. If you're concerned with having YouTube transcribe you automatically. And what I mean by that is, for some reason, some of the words that I use, YouTube thinks it's a swear word, and I'm swearing all the time. And so if you're getting demonetized, that says, oh, this is not brand safe or advertiser safe, we're not going to serve that out. That could be one of the things, like tags, titling, using certain words in the video could be setting that off. And if you're not saying it, if you say a specific word, which I'm not going to say on the live stream, that isn't necessarily a swear word, but it kind of sounds like it, and the auto thing thinks that it is, then you are saying a swear word until you actually upload that. So for massive growth, I know that if you upload a transcribed file, what happens is YouTube is auto translating that in other languages too. And so having one that's well done, it's easier to do that technology in there. And then 2, people can actually get it done in multiple languages. They have that community that people can say, oh, I speak Arabic, so I'm going to do it in Farsi or whatever. They can do that and submit there. Does it have an effect on your content? I believe it does, in the sense of validating and syncing up with what you're saying, which YouTube's looking at specifically. But ultimately, at the end of the day, all they care about is, how many people click on it and how many people stay on and finish it. Like, at the end of the day, that's all they really care about for discovery. And so adding that extra bonus might keep people on longer. Like I do it usually after the fact, because I have people that are hearing impaired, yes. Hearing impaired, that they're actually, using the closed captions, and it's good for them. And they appreciate it. So.
All right. Yeah, that's you mentioned the community thing. For those of you who aren't familiar with it, you can actually open up the ability for your audience to submit like transcriptions in other languages for your channels. It saves them there and allows you to review them. It shows you if it's in another language that you may not speak, it'll show you the language and then like a Google Translate version of it, so you can make sure that they're not giving you a transcript with completely different content in it. And that's I've had people do it on my channel. I've also gone out and had a couple of my more popular video transcribed to some other languages just to see how that kind of played out there. So yeah, I mean, it's definitely kind of an interesting thing to do. And as your audience grows, you get more of them. So if you don't have it turned on, you can turn it on and see if anybody's willing to share that from your audience. We have Gord Eisman. Derral, I run a how-to channel and I want to do more live streaming beyond just interviews. Any ideas for live themes for how-to channels?
What type of how-to videos do you do, Gord? That's a very, very important thing.
So Gord is, let's see if we can.
You should be able to click on us. There's 3 dots on the chat. You can just do
Yeah.
that.
I'm actually in the list of questions, so
Oh, okay,
I just
gotcha.
wanted to see what his, before I go saying what I also know Gord. You spend time and you develop relationships with everybody. I just wanted to see real quick. I know he does. He's done a lot of Camtasia tutorials and those kind of things.
Got it.
I just wanted to see if he's still in that realm. Yeah, doing a lot of video editing, Camtasia animated text. Yeah, so he's doing a kind of an educational video editing tips and tutorials for a specific software, Camtasia.
Okay. And the question was, what can you do besides interviews? Is that what the...
For live stream purposes, yeah. What's some live stream themes?
Look, at the end of the day, it's about connecting with your subscriber, right? And that's what live is doing. That's what we're doing here right now. We're actually reading your question. And so what you can do is open it up where you have your subscribers give you ideas for your content. So the whole reason why you come on live stream is to have them come on and have an interaction of what they would like to see most. And, maybe make a game out of it or whatever, where people feel like they're involved with the process. And, give them some recognition. You could do a live how-to where you're basically live going through one of your how-to videos and you're really showing your screen, going through the process, and you're connecting with them. It could be a 3-hour training on Camtasia, on the latest hacks or whatever it may be. There's a ton of things that you can do for that. I mean, this might be crazy, but I have been talking solid for, let's see, since 1 o'clock my time. So 7 hours plus hours. And I've been on 2 training webinars. Some of the people were actually in one of those trainings that we did a 2-hour session. And it's like, there's a lot of things you can talk about live and get that interaction that gives it a more personal level. And so that's something that you can do. And how-to channels work really well, where you say, okay, maybe once a month we're going to try live, and we just do it, the first Friday of the month or whatever, and just make it a thing where people are looking forward to it. Now, keep in mind, it might not have the same numbers that you're doing because your how-to traffic generally is search driven instead of subscriber driven. And it's more of a reference channel than it is a connection channel, but it's a great way to connect with those that are watching every video and they want a little bit more interaction with you, Gord. So,
That actually brings up an interesting question. Because we talked about a how-to video or a channel that's a lot more like a reference kind of channel. My other channel, The Average Dan, is a channel that historically I would post how-to videos, whether it was fixing a car. It originally started out with The Average Dan being just a kind of like, working my way through a problem that I encountered and sharing that information. So it was things, car repairs and stuff. It had to do with RV camping and other stuff. But those types of videos were, it may be somebody in their in their driveway, laying on their back, trying to figure out what size wrench to use or whatever the case is. Those types of videos tend to grow. A lot of times they can start out slow, but then at some point they just, they grow and they grow and they grow late in the process, which is, completely separate from those videos that just take off and go viral. Can you talk about kind of how the algorithm works with those and why they grow? And
yeah. So very simple. So basically, the average view duration on a how-to, if it's done right, is really, really good, especially if it's at like they have an iPad or a phone. Like one of the first times I knew that YouTube's going to be a big thing when I went up to my mom's house. She literally has 10 kids. I'm one of 10. You know, 3 are girls, the rest are boys. And she's changing like the hardware on a door. I'm like, what the heck are you doing? And she had her iPhone out or iPad out doing it. And I'm like, what are you doing, Mom? You have boys. She goes, I didn't want to bother you. And I knew I could just find it on YouTube. I'm like, man, the demographic of this is great, you know,
Right.
and that's what it is. It's like, how did you do it? Well, and I'm asking more because, you know, I never saw my mom necessarily watching YouTube videos, but she was for that. And so I was asking, you know, what'd you do? Well, I just went to YouTube because I know that had tutorial videos, and I just typed in, how do you do this? And this is the video that came up. I clicked on it, you know, and it was just, you know, that was cool. And I saw what she's able to do. And she was using a technique that I had no idea about, which is like part of the hinges that were breaking off because we used to slam doors because you have 10 kids. You try to slam it in your brother's face or whatever. And she was actually filling holes with a golf tee. So she was like, had a golf tee, put it in the hole, you know, from there, and it was filling it up. She put glue and stuff in it and then just snapped it off, and it just repaired that you know, that wood. But she picked that up on YouTube, and it's like,
No.
like never in a million years would we ever even thought about that. You know what I'm saying? There's other
Yep.
ways to do it, but like that was a very simple hack that she was learning on YouTube to do it, and then she was changing out the hardware and stuff like that. So for me, it's like what YouTube looks at is it a good video? Are people clicking on it? Is it found in search? Well, search will get you traffic, and it might not be high search, but once it hits a level that, hey, this is really good, people are clicking on it because they're looking at it from a search perspective,
Mm-hmm.
saying, look, this video is good for search, and people, that's a traffic source, okay, and that search is good. Now let's try it out in discovery, and discovery is a different beast. Okay, it's like they have to find the right audience for it, and so on and so forth, because individual videos is good, but you know, it's just really finding the person that's actually doing for search. But if it's a searchable channel, whatever, but it'll get to a point where all your videos are very well received by its audience, that it starts testing it out in discovery. And when it gets tested out in discovery, you'll notice that you'll start getting more suggested views and more browse feature. And when that happens, that's when YouTube triggers and says, oh, this is good content. So regardless of where it is, let's start promoting it more in discovery. We'll keep it in search because it gets good traffic, but you have a higher probability that they're going to stay on the video longer than the other material that's out there. And that's when it triggers and starts to suggest it out more. And that's when growth comes. And at the end of the day, I want everyone to be very clear. It's not about your channel. It's never been about your channel in a very long time. It's about the video. And when you have one video that takes off, you know, you could, like, I had a friend, and I mentioned this in my VidCon talk, but he had one video that took off, and he went from just a few subscribers to 400,000 subscribers overnight. It was just, it didn't take that long. And it's all about that specific growth of understanding what YouTube's looking for. And once you become in favor with the YouTube gods, which is an AI, which Google Brain is what it is, really, realistically. And it's basically just saying, okay, once the YouTube gods love you, then they're going to promote you. And when you get promoted, that's when you're going to grow. And that's at the end of the day. And how they love you is through the fundamental things that we've been talking here on this channel called Creator Fundamentals.
Absolutely. Let's see here. I have a couple of good questions here that I want to get to. Just gonna double check in the chat. Doug is doing an excellent job of rounding everything up for us. So this is a chat, and this is interesting. This is from Hawk Gaming. It's, if you had a gaming channel, how would you best maximize the thumbnail effect? One of the things I see over and over again for gaming channels that are starting out, they tend to grab a graphic from the game, and then they will just do, like, you know, live stream one of, you know, 1-2, like a vlog, and then there's nothing really that stands out on their thumbnail. So what would you say in terms of how they should approach a thumbnail for a gaming channel?
Look, there's several ways to do it. It's about reaction. It's about emotion. It's about creating those elements that tell a story without reading the title. Right. And so I always like to say, okay, if you were going to explain a video, you have a blank 3x5 card. How would you explain the video on that blank 3x5 card? You know, and can you do it without words is even better. And so that when you get those elements from it, it's a very, very big deal. Okay. Where this is a gaming channel, like I'm going to just show a prop. Is it okay? Can I show a prop on this channel?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. No problem.
I bet you didn't see this one coming.
I did see that on the hood of your truck.
Okay, so what I'm getting at is is things matter, and thumbnails matter too. And so it's just really understanding how to tell a story with video, with I'm sorry, with a thumbnail. And sometimes it's like finding things that engage certain senses of humanity, and humanity is all dealt with emotion, and you know, being clickable is key. And so bright colors work. Don't be overzealous of putting so much in there that you're trying to do every little thing for it. Simplicity sells, complexity confuses. So the more simple that it is, the better. And then really finding a way to, with emotion and whatever that may be, you know, pull that in. But I would look at some of the best streamers out there, and see how they're pulling it in. Like right now, one of my favorite, you know, professionals, you know, gamer stuff is Ninja. I think he has an amazing story. I actually am entertained by his stuff. Take a look at what he does. Like, he's not necessarily in thumbnails, and it's very engaged on the type of content that he's doing, which is Fortnite, and it's very, very, you know, very, very well done from my perspective. It could be better, but his engagement is like through the roof, you know. So it's like, you know, he has a huge, massive following that just loves everything that he does, and so he was the fastest channel to grow to 10 million, and now he's already at 16 million, and so it's just crazy. But I would look at gamers that work, and then I would say, what do you like about those thumbnails? There's certain thumbnails that you like that appeals to you. You should be your demographic, or you should understand what your demographic likes. And so I would do more type of content like that, and roll from there. But remember, simplicity sells, and it needs to be able to tell what your video is about without reading the title.
Absolutely. Actually, just pulled Ninja up to take a peek, and let's see here. We want, trying to grab some highlight or some real good questions here to wrap us up. Somebody's looking for conferences in Ontario. Alex Fishing. I've deleted over 300 non-performing videos. After deleting a few hundred videos back in September, the channel took off. Have you seen something like that?
Yeah, when I get a new client, we always purge content that doesn't perform. So
Does that have, is that, but like you said, it's a video versus a channel. So does deleting one video have any impact on the performance of the channel as a whole?
Look, there's channel authority that is real. Like, that's one of the things. Like, I can put out a video, and don't take this the wrong way, but you could put out a video on the same thing. I'll get, you know, better placement.
Right.
And it has nothing to do with the video or the length or anything like that. There is some channel authority that's there,
Mm-hmm.
but it's not as defined. Like, each video is independent in the way that it's promoted. So if you have a better performing video, then maybe you will actually get, you know, better placement in discovery and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, there are some things, there are some correlation with audience and momentum. And I would never, ever, ever recommend you guys delete videos unless you know what you're doing. You know, it could adversely affect your channel. But when you say you've seen improvement, are we talking like it could be, hey, we're getting more views, we're getting that, and it might not necessarily be correlated with that, because here's something that you didn't know. In September was one of the most massive updates to YouTube, and they shifted the way that they actually suggest videos. And so, like, knowing if that was that or deleting, you don't have the full picture on it. It's
Right.
just, it might be coincidence or whatever. But in the same sense, when I get a new client, we always look at the data, and we do purge. What we do purge is when it's not in line with the theme of the channel. And if it underperforms, generally, if it underperforms, it's not with the theme of the channel. So,
Cool. Next question's from Destiny D. Darling, and it asks, does the new 4,000 hours of watch time threshold mean that perhaps the larger YouTubers get paid a little better because there's less bad actors? That's my burning question.
less bad actors. I don't necessarily like the terminology. You know what YouTube uses. Sorry, I'm just texting someone here real quick.
Yeah.
Um, at the end of the day, there's several different things that make up how much money you're going to make on it. Would you reiterate the question? Because I think I was distracted a little bit. I just want to make
I
sure
think
I'm.
basically what it's asking is that since it's now 4,000 hours, there's going to be a smaller pool of monetized YouTubers, and will that result in those people making more money or getting?
Look, at the end of the day, we buy a lot of ads for my ad agency. So we do stuff like that, and it's all about inventory and how that it puts out. It does, like, there's less inventory that's out there. However, even if someone's monetized, doesn't necessarily mean they get the good ads anyway. They get probably the half-cent ads that people are just trying to just get more reach with. And so, does it actually make YouTubers more money to penalize it out? I just don't think anyone that has 4,000 hours watched is even getting a significant amount of views anyway to make an impact on the advertisers. Like,
Right.
we're talking, they want massive views. And so even if you had 10,000 channels under that, just only getting a couple hundred or a couple thousand views a month, that doesn't make an impact,
Right.
than someone that's getting, because I mean, you're only talking about a 250,000 views, like from hours watched. If you do it right, it's not that much, to
Mm-hmm.
be monetized. It really isn't. It's like, I know that, like, for some of you are like, oh, that's a huge hurdle, but, like, seriously, we started a new channel, like, and I did this, like, seriously, I did not do this. Like, I'm documenting the process to go to 1 million subscribers. Like, I'm literally going to sell that training and all that other stuff. It's very, from there, but I'm literally showing everything that I do to get to 1 million subscribers. We got 1,000 subscribers in 36 days. We got to that after that 36 days. That we did stage 2, which is to get that 4,000 hours. We did one collaboration, and that one collaboration got us to that point. Are we monetized yet? No, we're still, like, they're backlogged, and it'll
Mm-hmm.
probably be another 3 weeks or something like that before we get it. But we were able to do it. Now we're pushing 6,000 subscribers, in just that amount of time. It's just understanding the behavior from it.
Mm-hmm.
And so, ultimately, at the end of the day, is YouTube, serving out ads. Yes, there's only so much ad inventory that's out there, but I don't think the amount of views that you're not necessarily getting is going to affect anything on that.
Right.
So,
So we have T Clean TV who says, does the YouTube algorithm change, or is it geared differently when you're dealing with different types of channels, i.e., gaming, compared to how to bake a cake?
look, YouTube is very specific on accomplishing its goal. What they want to do is to predict what is going to be the best video for you. And what you're going to watch on YouTube is differently than what I'm going to watch on YouTube, and what's different than Dan's going to watch on YouTube. YouTube's AI is trying to understand your behavior as a viewer. And so, yes, it's different. It's going to interact differently, because a gamer literally is different than someone that's trying to bake a cake or whatever, the example that you gave. My sons, I have 4 sons. They like 3 of them are way into gaming channels. 2 of them are obsessed with it. That they watch way too much time on the gaming channels. And YouTube knows that when they get on, they'll sit down and sit and watch someone play a game for 3 hours. That's just their viewing behavior, and they'll do it from a mobile device. However, with me, I rarely do I watch a video on the desktop that is longer than 10 minutes. Like, I just don't have that amount of time when I'm on the desktop, and YouTube knows that about me. But when I go home and I have a TV that has YouTube, in my room, whatever, that I'll watch half an hour to an hour to 2 hour. And so what happens is when I go home and log in through my mobile app, on the TV, it says, "Oh, Derral's signed in through the TV. Let's show him longer content that he wouldn't have necessarily watched on the mobile or even on the desktop, but where he's on the TV, let's show him different results." That's how smart the AI is, and that's what the AI is doing, is predicting my behavior and my patterns as the viewer, and then showcases that differently, to me based off of my own patterns. And so what it's doing, and then it's grouping me together with people that are similar to me and have the similar types of patterns, and putting us together on that.
And I think it was, you just put out, was it part 1 of your video that talks about the idea of YouTube looking into the different patterns and viewing habits based on the type of device that people are actually using. So,
that's on my channel, is the last video that's uploaded. So
all right, so we have, let's see here, Jeffrey Eatley. Does YouTube pay attention to how many videos you have on a channel? I just hit 20. Also, over 50% of my traffic is from Facebook. Does YouTube care?
YouTube doesn't care where the traffic source comes from. Like, they're very particular about people coming on platform and what they do afterwards. So, if they leave right after you, that can make a difference. It's, that's kind of where it's at. Do they care that you have a lot of content, or 20 or whatever? I just did a post the other day. I can't even remember what social it was. If it was Twitter, LinkedIn, or Facebook, I can't remember what it was. But the number 2 most viewed channel of all time is WWE. And they just surpassed Ryan's toy review. They're getting about 869 million video views a month.
Yeah, that's insane.
It is literally, they're literally crushing it. Special side note, Dan, I guarantee you probably didn't know that they were at Vid Summit.
Really? I did not know that.
That was the channel that was over 20 million. They're at 30 million now.
Nice.
Their strategist is a good friend, and their team, they go to Vid Summit every year. That's one of the things I'm trying to get them to present this year. They're just trying to get approval. Like, WWE is very tight-lipped strategy. They don't want to share that out, and Vid Summit's all about transparency. But we'll see if we can do it. He might just present on another topic non-related to WWE. But,
nice.
But anyway, that being said, they go look at their upload count. Like, it's like ridiculous. Like, I'm going to pull that up because I can't even remember what it was. It's just like, I can pull it up on this because I just did a screenshot of it the other day. Let me pull it up here. But it is just so ridiculous of how many videos they've uploaded. So they've uploaded a couple days ago. And if you think that having a whole bunch of content and going from there, 36,099 uploads. That's how many uploads. And I wonder if it's changed because it was a couple days old.
36,148 is what they're at now, according to
there you go. Okay, so does it matter about old inventory? No, it's what it matters about. Like, that's what I'm saying about deleting videos. Like, they could delete videos and get more, but they're getting more views because their videos are all the same. Like, it's like that hits that audience. They know their audience. Their audience is super engaged, and that content is being suggested so much so that it was 894 million video views in the last 30 days, but now it's 922 million in the last 30 days. So just that difference that, it's almost,
So
it's just getting just more. I guarantee you this will be the #1 channel on YouTube.
yeah, I mean,
That's
at
they're
the
#2 right now.
at the
So
rate they're going, because they're not only hitting those numbers, but they're growing that number on a monthly basis, and that it
they are.
wasn't even that long ago when you posted that. So they're
Yeah, they're cruising along,
yeah.
and like you have no idea how much money that is. You have an estimated view off of Social Blade, and I can guarantee you, Social Blade tries to do a great estimate, but it's not even close.
Yeah, yeah.
It says $44 million a year. It's not even close.
Oh God, no. I would have to imagine it's ridiculously more than that. But
Yeah, yeah.
all right. Let's see here. See what else we got in here. Saw one here that I want to go back to. So this is kind of a very general question from Kevin Boston 7. How do you keep engagement on a video up?
So how do you keep engagement up? Was that the
Yeah,
question?
I think this is asking how to keep people watching your videos.
Yeah. So I think the biggest thing is understanding your audience, like literally knowing if there's trigger words that keeps people going. Like on my videos, I stopped putting music on the outro because people jump off as soon as that music comes. Oh, it's over, right? And so
Interesting, yeah.
I dropped that out completely, and then people are staying on longer. So it's like seeing patterns that you can see from the data from there. You can always tighten up your edit
Mm-hmm.
and cause things to go. Let me just give you a couple key tips. You have 3 to 5 seconds to grab their attention. If you have their attention, you have them for 30 seconds. You have to re-engage them in 30 seconds. After 30 seconds, you have 1 minute to re-engage them on the content. If you deviate from that a little bit, you could lose people and you'll have a hockey stick where you just drop way down.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're always at 1 minute, bringing them something in that keeps them there, you can tease them, whatever it may be, but it's just engaging with them on a level. Then you'll have a better, consistency for a longer average view duration. A lot of this stuff is done through editing. You don't have to do it as a performer. You can just like edit it so that it goes from there. Things that work is, especially for the younger demographic, is doing some teases. So you're doing,
Right.
some clips of things that are going to happen in the future, and so they know that they need to do it. It all pulls in. But ultimately, your thumbnail should reflect the first minute of your video. If it doesn't, then you need to recut it so that it does, so they don't say, "Oh, this is not what I was looking for," even
Right.
though it was maybe at minute 9.
Mm-hmm.
You got to figure out, either tease it, promo it,
Right.
find a way to pull it in. And that's what I would do for sure.
Awesome. Yeah, and that's something that I see a lot of, especially new creators as they're starting, not really doing anything in the beginning uh, to hook the viewer and keep them interested. Try to give them that right off the bat, give them either a highlight that they're going to see later on, or identify what the value is that you're going to try to bring throughout the video early in the process. Like I get a lot of questions from like vloggers and stuff, with along those lines. It's like, pick a moment out in the vlog that you think was interesting or that you think people will respond to, and maybe show a clip in the beginning to kind of allude to that's the story that you're going to tell and where you're going to end up. And let them know right away, so they're not sitting through the down part of your video and decide to leave before it even happens. So let's see here. We got that one we covered. And
I think someone thought I misspoke when I said that WWE they thought 84 million. No, that was 80. It was 840 million
yeah,
video views in the last
yes,
30 days. So it's 892 million video views in the last 30 days now.
absolutely insane for sure. All right, let me just take a peek in here and see if I can find that one. Covered that. We covered that. A lot of these questions that people were asking were stuff that we addressed in answers to other questions. So I want to make sure that. So Tom DeSico asks, I consider myself a vlog-style storytelling channel, and I've recently been playing with the idea of using the live stream function on YouTube. Do you think it's beneficial for would art time-lapse videos not getting past 10 to 20% just part of the nature of... That seems like two different questions kind of squeezed in together here. That might have got pasted wrong.
Yeah.
Would art time-lapse videos not... That looks like like a Beanie Draws question. Art time-lapse videos not getting past 10 to 20% just part of the nature of art videos. So that's a separate question, it seems, but basically only getting 10 to 20% on the videos and plenty of subscribers, but the retention is always low. So he does art time lapses, and he's wondering if it's a normal case that people are cutting out of the video 10 to 20% in.
No, it's not a normal case. It just depends on who your audience is. If it's a younger demographic that have not attention spans, that you'd have to re-engage them a little bit differently.
Right.
One of my good friends, she's one of the biggest time-lapse arts person in the world. That she has one of the biggest channels in Poland. I flew to Poland for her wedding. That was like how important she is to me, her and her husband, to me as people. And they stay with me like once or twice a year, at our house. Anyway, she's more of a personality type on YouTube, and she does time lapse, but she's more bringing her personality into it instead of the art. It's the art and her personality.
Right.
Her personality is the art. And so, no, like her retention's like 80 some odd percent. It's ridiculous. It's just up through the roof. So it just depends on who the audience is, who's it's attracting. So if it is the younger demographic, yeah, it could be in line with that. So you'd have to take that in consideration, but you can always improve. Even with the younger kids, I have channels, you can get really, really high retention if you know what you're doing. So.
Yeah, just ask my 8-year-old. There's some videos that he'll just sit on a channel and just watch a string of videos nonstop. So this next question, I'm going to kind of paraphrase this, but they've identified that they believe that 6 to 9 p.m. Eastern is their best time to upload. So asking if they should target this time for uploads. Do you think it's important to find a specific time of day to publish videos?
Okay, so yes, and yes again. Look, I'll tell you what I do, and I know there's tools like vidIQ and TubeBuddy that says, hey, this is the best time to post. What I do is look at when your peak viewership is. So when is that? And you want to see the highest moment in that specific day, and then I would go back 3 hours. And that's when I would post. It's that simple for me. And let me tell you how important that is. I have a channel that has well over 1 million subscribers, gets a ton of views from there. We were posting earlier in the morning, in my time zone. And the bulk of our audience is in the United States and Canada. So it worked out, it's not too early, not too late type thing. And I noticed that there was a shift back in March, that there were more people watching it. My shift of when it spiked up the highest in the channel was right around 4 p.m. my time instead of in the morning. And so I delayed a couple releases to the afternoon to test that out. And it just started to take off even more. I was getting more suggested. It was really weird. And I was like, well, what's going on? And so I was like looking at where the traffic was coming from. For some reason, I was getting more suggested in California. And that made sense because, my time in California was hitting a specific, time of when it would be consumed, that video would be consumed. And it was having a higher rate of push. Now, keep in mind, California, generally, if you're in the United States, California is the #1 traffic source. Number two is Texas for some reason. I guess there's a lot of people that watch YouTube videos in Texas. So being on Central or Pacific for the release is good. And I shifted that channel to release not every day, like not every day at that time, but I did shift it on the days that traffic is more relevant. And then and keep in mind, like, these subscribers aren't like subscribers that need consistency. They just, it's more through suggestion and stuff like that. Like, that's a whole nother advanced strategy stuff. So, part of the week it's earlier, part of the week's later. And right now, the data that I'm getting is I'm going to just go 100%, released in the afternoon, but it's like too early to tell. I know I've been testing since March, but it's still shifting, and that's what I'm looking at. That's what I'm analyzing and adjusting from there. So
great. All right, and I think there's some popped in here late. Maneuver this thing to the end here, and all right. So this is a question that is interesting, and I see it a lot from people. This is Savage Scientist asking, do you think variety channels and playlists are the future of YouTube?
No.
Yeah.
I'll elaborate on it. It's like being very specific of what your content's about and reaching a specific demographic is very key. You do a variety, it kills it. And what I mean by that is, look at BuzzFeed. BuzzFeed's a good example. They're coming to Vid Summit. And BuzzFeed has different channels for the different types of audiences it's doing, and it has different types of content for it. Doing a variety channel just does not work. There's very rare occasions that it does, but what it does work, it's more, we have a variety channel. We don't get a lot of views, consistent views. Some videos work really well, others just don't work very well.
Right.
But in playlists, it just, like, playlists, there's bots that go out that are working with YouTube specifically. It's a YouTube thing that goes in and features playlists, because there's some people that consume that. But having a channel that you're just doing playlists and bringing that variety in for other people's channels or whatever it may be, or your own, isn't necessarily, you're not going to see a lot of success here. Now, there's always that really weird case that you might see one or two that work that way, and everybody's like, oh, this is the new future. But seriously, like, for every example of that, I can probably do 10,000 examples of the opposite way. So,
yeah.
Or more.
That's usually the direction the conversation goes, because it's really hard to, reward your subscribers when you're posting, the next 3 videos are on a topic that doesn't match what they signed up or signed on for to begin with. So
yeah, well, like, for me, my personal YouTube channel is a reference channel. It's like, people only come to me when they need help.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And the help that they're looking for isn't always what I'm releasing, and so they're like, oh no, I'm not interested, and they don't even watch it.
All right.
YouTube's watching that specifically and knowing the behaviors of the viewers. So I know which videos are going to perform well, like, I just know what it is. And so at the end of the day, it's like, yeah, I can hyper focus. But like, I'm literally on the verge of starting another channel differently. It's going to be different, but it's because the demographic's different. Right. So that's kind of what I'm doing. Yeah.
Absolutely. All right, let's see here. I think we had one.
Before we do, like, what I want to do is just kind of a shout out. Like, I only have a few more minutes left that I want to share value, and there's like a lot of you. I'm blown away, seriously, that you've had a very consistent stream, and a lot of these people have been on the whole time. I'm still blown away, Dan. So, I mean, kudos to your community. Like, that's awesome. So if you have a question right now, Doug has been waiting to copy and paste that and put it into Google Docs so I can, they can ask me. So if we didn't reach your question or whatever, do that now. Make sure you tag Doug in that for sure. And for me, What I'd like to do just for the moment, because we have a little lag, and I know it takes a little time to type. I want to make sure I get some of the last questions. I want to ask Dan a question.
Sure.
This is really really important for me to ask him this question, and I think that you guys will find value in it. And please be patient with me for sure. But this is more. I'm curious about that. We'd never talked about this before. Just a few things. So you okay with that, Dan? Can I ask you a question specifically?
Ask away.
Okay. Um, how many subscribers did you have before you come to Vid Summit?
When I arrived at Vid Summit, I had 410.
Okay. And when you left, what was the biggest takeaway besides meeting some of the people that you interacted with and got a personal relationship? But what left with a notebook in very large font or handwritten very
Yeah,
large?
right.
You said you had two notebooks full of content. If you were to take all that information, how long did it take you to start implementing some of the ideas that you got from coming to the Vid Summit?
Well, I mean, the cool thing about VidSummit for me is it just put you. I mean, it takes your motivation and like magnifies it by 1,000. So, when I was on the plane, my brain was running with all the ideas that I wanted to actually implement on my channel, and not only that, because of the type of channel that I had, but how I could share that information with my audience. There were all various types of nuggets. The channels and the super clusters and the things that you talked about. That was something that stood out, trying to build those relationships with other similar channels, and like you said, with the collaborations and those things, which surprisingly it was something that I shared on my channel, but through this first year I haven't done doing what I did and the size that I was at the time. It was hard to create those relationships because there were fewer players in this particular niche, and they were much larger than me, and it was kind of at a not an appropriate fit for, say, hey, come come grow my channel for me, so that kind of thing. But that's one of the things I'm actually looking forward to more this year, having developed the channel and kind of proven that by implementing best practices you can actually grow. It's not oversaturated, all the excuses that people try to use on your channels. But I mean, overall, the biggest lesson that I've learned on YouTube is that it's all about mindset. Mindset is what makes or breaks people above and beyond good content. You can't have crappy content, but the mindset, I think, is what allows people to either realize that they can make it and strive towards, maybe your content isn't where it is, right where you want it to be, or where it is to compete with some other channels. But you can, if you are, you have the patience and you're focused on improving for those who are not from that realm, who don't do video all the time, that you can apply those changes over time. You can improve. If you go back and you look at the very first video on this channel, it's hideous, but I leave it there. It reminds me of how much I've grown and how much closer I'm getting to actually having a channel that is similar to all those channels that I looked up to at VidSummit last year. So.
Now you're a nerdy nerd. I know it. I can see it a million miles away, and you're a nerdy nerd. You're a nerd to the nerds. You geek out with your profession and what you do. Like, you do tech stuff. You understand the things that are there. Did, like, your knowledge base before going to Vid Summit, did it shift when you went to the Vid Summit and you sat through those sessions? Did you say, oh my gosh, this is like things that people don't talk about, I just never heard before? Was that something that was happening there at Vid Summit?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, my background, obviously I didn't have a video background before I started doing the YouTube thing. My background, if anything, is I'm a problem solver. That's what my career has always been. It's solving problems. If it's taking a problem and understanding how it works, and breaking it into its pieces and figuring how to get it to do what I want it to do. And going to Vid Summit kind of put the what I was good at. It kind of framed it in terms of how to use that skill towards actually understanding, the parts of YouTube and the process, specifically the business side of YouTube. because ultimately, even when I first started this channel, it's like, yeah, if I can make a couple bucks, but then once you really start to you see all these people who have been hugely successful, and it's not like they are, um, you know, Stephen Hawking or anybody. They're just people who got familiar with the process. They learned by, in some case, making mistakes or understanding how the process worked, and they were able to build something really significant. So for me, Vid Summit kind of allowed me to see how the skill set that I had could be applied towards actually taking YouTube and turning it into an actual business. And I mean, so far it's been, I mean, it's been significant since, I mean, monetarily speaking on this channel, what this channel has been able to earn this year versus certainly last year. And that's just the tip of the iceberg in terms of all the plans I have, all the things I'm going to do, the multiple revenue streams, all of that stuff that I'm working on, collaborations with other YouTubers and stuff along those lines to develop, those revenue streams and stuff. It makes it that much more exciting because it's not just sharing and helping people, but it's also actually the fun of building something and continuing to grow it in that realm. So for me, that's the exciting part for me.
So the reason why I asked you those things, because look, at the end of the day, I know what I want the Vid Summit to be, and I know where it has been and where it's going. I did a dinner for the speakers the first year, and we went private out. I just basically paid for dinner. That's the least I could do since they were traveling in and spending their time, just going from here. And
Right.
I told them, I shared with them the vision where I wanted Vid Summit to be. And I remember the room of the speakers that were there. They didn't really chuckle at me at all. But they were like, yeah, we'll see how it goes. Good luck on that one type thing. And last year was it. Like I took the same speakers out, and they're like, holy cow! Like 3 years ago, you said this is where it was going to be, and you told us the day and the time that it's going to happen, and that's where it's at. Now, for me personally, what's really, really important is having the right people in the room. Like I literally, we could literally sell 5,000 tickets and have it be a 5,000 person event, and that would be great. But I don't want to do that.
All right.
What I love about the Vid Summit is what you got to experience. It's like a place where ideas are open source and we're sharing, and it's more about sharing and connecting. And what spurs the conversation is the people on the stage. And I can guarantee you can look at our roster. I can guarantee you there's a woman that I just added to it, Meredith. I can guarantee you that no one knows who she is. Like I would be very shocked if anyone on this live stream knows who Meredith is. Okay. Now, when you start reading about her, then you're like, oh my gosh, like she's like off the charts. Like she has worked with the biggest brands in the world. She's audience development, queen. The reason why I invited her is I wanted to learn from her. And the great thing about it is she's with Theorist Media Incorporated. Like this is game theory's channel, but they do strategy. They do what I do for my other company.
Mm-hmm.
They do it on a great scale. Their clients are massive, and the thing about it is I'm not egotistical thinking that I know everything and I need to learn. And here I'm inviting someone that I guarantee you that the average person wouldn't even know who they are. But I'm here to tell you, I'll probably learn more from her than any other person on that list. And for me is because we talk the same language. She'll say that just a small little thing that nobody will ever get, but then it'll be like that for me. And so we were like rapping the other day on the phone, and she was just she was talking about what presentation she'd give, and she started to talk about what she's passionate about. I'm like, holy crap, Meredith! I literally would rearrange my whole schedule and pay you $20,000 to hear that. She's like, well, all right, let's give me the money. I'm like, but anyway, like for me, that is amazing. And those are the types of presenters that I do. I'm my avatar, but I wanted to hear from you of, what you got out of it. And what you got out of it was exactly what I wanted to see. And the thing for me and you're going to see a shift this year. We're actually like, I'm like super budget conscious. Like you look at the backdrops and everything, is like, okay, this is a cheesy event, because it's about the content. At the end of the day, it's about the content. It's not about the wrapping. But this year we have LED screen type stuff. It's going to look like a conference. We have Amazon, that's our title sponsor.
Nice.
And Amazon, I'm here to tell you guys need to. Amazon owns Twitch, and you need to pay attention to Amazon. If there's anything, I signed an NDA. I can't say anything about it, but listen, that's who's in the audience. And then you have Facebook's there, you have Twitch that's there. Like, we don't have YouTube there for some reason. Go figure. But anyway, like, we have big people like BuzzFeed and all that. These are the people that are making things happen. Now, you might not know who they are. You might not do anything. I want to share with you the opportunity that you have when you're in the right room at the right time. I have a card here. Notice who it's from. Okay, and I'm not gonna put the person's name on it, but I was literally being nice to someone, and I said, hey, let's share an Uber. We're going in the same direction, whatever. I'm not a psycho killer, whatever, And that was one of the things that happened. And I told her what I did and so on. And she was very curious. And then I was sharing with her, and she's like, well, I go, well, what do you do? They tell me about it. Usually I ask them, but she was very inquisitive, and I was being nice to her. Come to find out, she is the vice president who reports to Mark Zuckerberg on basically Facebook Watch and live streaming. Wow. And I now am her BFF, and seriously, I got a cell phone number and everything. And it's like, you never know who you're next to. And I can guarantee you, you'll have people that don't put a company name or anything. It's just their name, and they're there to gather information. And these are the types of people that we have at Vid Summit. And like I explained before, we had a channel over 20 million. Now they're at 30 million. That was sitting in the audience. Nobody knows that here's their content strategist. And they're like some amazing marketing people that are getting almost 900 million video views a month, that are just sitting in the audience learning. And then too, mind you, they do love TubeBuddy because it saves them a ton of time too. And then you're having, 3 other channels over 10 million, 136 channels over 1 million. And these are people that you don't know. Like seriously, they have a channel. You have no idea how big they are, and they're sitting in the same room. And then you also have, 238 people that have over, 500,000 plus. And I'll guarantee you, like, these people are coming back. They're already signing up. I already have a list of some of these bigger YouTubers, because like we track that information. Mm-hmm. This is gonna be a lot bigger and better, and you never know who you're gonna sit by. And I know I alluded to this earlier, but like, growth happens by sharing information and doing what works. And to understand what works, you could do trial and error. Like, at the end of the day, you could do trial and error. You can watch every webinar. You can watch every video that's ever put online. But until you have someone open up to you that is successful in YouTube, and trust me, on my channel, I don't open up completely. Like, I keep it for private masterminds and private group. I'm literally in a group right now. We have 50 YouTubers that's in this private Discord group that no one knows about. And these are the biggest YouTubers in the planet. Like, if I started to name some names, you'd like, oh, I know him. Then there's people like me that I have channels that you don't even know about, so you never know who you're sitting by at Vid Summit. These are the type of people, I can guarantee you, of these lists, the big OG YouTubers, they're not going to come. They have their system. They're so much busy. But then you have someone like Matthias with Team Edge and Hi-Fi Studios. They literally have 14 different channels. They come every year. Why? Because the strategy they learn is what they're doing and how they're implementing. They bring their whole team and so on. You don't even, like, some of the actors don't come, but some of their team members do. Mm-hmm. And so at the end of the day, you never know who you're by. But the most important thing about Vid Summit is this. is the culture that we created from the conference is about transparency and sharing. And at the end of the day, Dan, you were able to connect and talk to people that you idolized and looked up to, right? And you're like, oh my gosh, these are people that, I watch their stuff, and you're able to have conversations with them. You got a relationship with them. You've done stuff with them now, and now you're going to have a completely different strategy because you know what to expect at coming to the Vid Summit than you've done before. And so I love this example of like there's one guy, you can look him up. Shots of Jaeger is the channel. I did an interview on my channel. He 100% says his growth came from Vid Summit. Like he was at 1,000 subscribers. The next year he's at 1.1 million. Like he says 100% is from Vid Summit. And I want to share with you why it was at the Vid Summit. And I want to share with you his story. His story is this. I was reaching out and looking for a grip. What a grip is a grunt on a production shoot. Like they run to the store, they hold cameras, they hold lighting, they do whatever, in the YouTube world. And I put it up, hey, I need someone, I'm doing a shoot, and he says, I will literally drop what I'm doing and come on the shoot. And I'm like, I'm not paying you. And he goes, I understand that. So what happened? From that, he got my cell phone number. Okay, that was the first thing. He got my cell phone number, and he did a great job. And I communicated with him, and I trusted him enough that he came and did it. He not only did 1 or 2 shoots, but I was bringing other big YouTubers in, and he would just be a part of the group and a part of the crew, right? And he'd eat dinner with us, and he was interacting with us. He's part of the squad. And ultimately I turned to him. I says, look, you really helped me out. I really do appreciate it. The least I can do is give you a ticket to Vid Summit. So let me at least do that. And he goes, okay, I'll take you up on that. But in the same sense, he was like literally trying to figure out how he was going to grow his channel. Right. And he come to the Vid Summit. He watched a presentation that I did. His head literally exploded because it was one of those that like the stuff that I'm doing, I always save 6 months and then I present 6 months. Well, at Vid Summit, I'm prepping for a year and testing up to that last moment, and then I share at that time. Yes, I'm still 6 months to a year ahead of things that I'm testing and trying, but I'm giving you the most accurate information I can. So he sat through it and he's like, oh my gosh, this is like super amazing. I cannot believe he shared this. He went outside and he didn't know this, but one of the YouTubers that we were doing the collaboration says, hey, come talk, in this group. Here he had 2 channels that had over 5 million subscribers, and one that had over 1 million and one that had, about 2 million. And they started to have a conversation on the tactic and strategies that I was teaching. And they're like, oh yeah, well, and 2 of them, mind you, I help in a private group and stuff like that. And so they're giving a lot more depth to it. And all he did was like a fly on the wall. And he was just listening to the conversation. And he's like, this is valuable. And he goes, oh, I've been doing this all wrong. Like I've been trying to get video views the wrong way. And he connected the dots on what that was. And then after that, he's like, hey, Derral, like as soon as Vid Summit's over, can we chat? I'm like, yeah, 100%. And so Vid Summit was done. And then he goes, hey, look, this is what I got from it. Thank you so much. Could we like have a call just between you, me, and my wife? And I says, absolutely. Let's just do it. And then he opened up. He literally said, says, hey, this is what I'm thinking. This is what I'm looking to do. And I'm like, Steve, man, you're right on. Like that's exactly what you need to do. And he put out a plan. He had a plan of his content strategy, how he was going to get views, what he was going to piggyback on, how he's going to get suggested. And it all came from conversations and training that happened at the Vid Summit. And he wouldn't put all the pieces together because the presentations will only be the presentations. But what happens after that discussion where they take it to the next level, because you can only do so much in 45 minutes, where they do it very specific on what was being said, they're able to have that. And he had that conversation. And so he put together a plan, and he told me, he says, look, at the next Vid Summit, he goes, I'm going to be a big YouTuber. And I says, go for it, man. I truly believe you can do it, man. And sure enough, he went from 1,000 subscribers to 1.1 million. And right now, I think he's getting like 60, 70 million views a month, somewhere around there. Let's see. Let's just take a look at how big he is. So let's see here. Because like that, like, and I can definitely, okay, so they're going to hit 2 million tomorrow, 2 million subscribers, and they got 71 million video views in the last 30 days. And I can do story after story after story. We had Stephen Scherer. He came and present last year before he bought the Vid Summit replays. He didn't come to the Vid Summit. He just bought the replays and consumed everything. He went from in January he had 1,000 subscribers, and by June he had 1 million. And so the information and what you're able to process is like top notch. What you do need to know is what he shared at the Vid Summit last year, which is understanding trends and knowing what videos to make, what not to make, and go from there. And the video presentation that he's going to do, like the presentation they're going to do this year, right, it's like off the hook. It's like 2.0. It's like some of the stuff, and I am in a private group with them too. It's just like, it's off the charts. And so that's what Vid Summit is. It's different than any other conference. I know that there's conferences out there that say that they're the same or something. You know, there are others that pop up. But what makes us different is the content that's actually produced is screened by me, and that might not mean anything to you. But it's what I want to learn, and it's from people that you might not know. And it's not just a YouTuber that gets up and says, oh, here's my life story. I guarantee you go to a conference and you're going to hear people say, this is my life story. This is how I got started. I could care less about the life story. Tell me the tactics and strategies that's going to help me grow, and give me case studies that I can show. And that's what I say. Like, if you're going to do that, go to another conference. I don't necessarily need you to present. It's not that I don't want you to come. It's just I don't want to hear it. And we can get that at another conference. And I guarantee you, it doesn't matter what conference it is, you will literally hear that from keynotes and on. But at Vid Summit, no, it's 100% strategy, and you'll get some motivation stuff. Like we had Gary V there. He was giving actual information, but it was more motivational type stuff. But at the end of the day, it's different because of the culture that we created and what's expected. But it's more about who's actually showing up. So of the ticket sales that we have, when we first did it, we sent 2 emails out, and we sold half the tickets in 2 emails. And half the tickets, like we sell it at 1,500, right? And half the tickets, I can guarantee you, the size of channels of the people that have bought were the ones that are the bigger YouTubers. It's just like, that's just where it's at. Like that type of money is pennies compared to what they get out of it. Mm-hmm. So the higher price point, I do apologize. We're not going into any other town. I do apologize for that. I only want to do it once a year. That's all I can do. I don't need to be the VidCon LA, VidCon everything. I'm not that. I'm never going to be that. We're going to always be small. We will scale through virtual tickets, so we can pick up Australia and stuff that people can't fly. That's why we do that. I do apologize, but I got to have a life, and I can't do business all the time. So absolutely, that was the longest pitch on Vid Summit I've ever done in my whole life. But seriously, guys, I'm passionate about it, and it is a true opportunity. And I don't just say it because I'm a founder. I say it because I've seen it change people's lives. And once you're able to see what you can make in this industry and how you can leverage, it'll change your whole perspective on everything. We're talking, this is an industry. It's so new that people don't know how to leverage. Like, these YouTubers don't even know what an email list is and the power behind affiliate marketing and so on. So when you introduce concepts like that, I mean, some of them are making hundreds of thousands of dollars additional a month just off of collecting email lists, right, doing very simple things that's just normal for us as marketers. So
yeah, and that was definitely something that I was exposed to at Vid Summit last year, because I wasn't in that process. I wasn't an affiliate marketer per se prior to that, and something that I got involved with, and that's some of the revenue that I've built since then was just learning things like that, things that aren't necessarily specific to YouTube, but they're great things to do, and they fit nicely with YouTube, and allow you to kind of extend, the reach that you built on YouTube. So
Yeah.
yeah.
There's one comment I need to go over. It
All
was
right.
guy, the IT guy, says, I thought that piggyback was frowned upon. Piggybacking is piggybacking on a trend. And that's never frowned on. Like YouTube promotes that. They're like, hey, you got to do temp-pole. You got to do things that are trending. You got to look at for the things that are happening. When something is coming up, like as big as Star Wars, hey, if you have a series of Star Wars things, that's what you got to do. That's what we're talking about. Is you're piggybacking off of traffic. That is temp-pole marketing. That's marketing 101. That's the way to grow. Through collaborating or trending, that's the only way to grow on YouTube. I'm telling you, I've built 21 channels from nothing and getting over 1 million subscribers each. I'm telling you, that's the only way to grow on YouTube. I have never seen any other way without collaboration or trending of understanding those elements that you can grow. I just haven't said. Well, let me reiterate. Let me take back. I'm going to take back that. If you can ever get your content on Reddit on the front page, you can grow that way too. And you don't have to be trending. You can start your own trend, i.e. the hydraulic press channel.
Reddit is my nemesis, but I'll keep trying.
Yeah.
Reddit's a challenge. I cannot tell you enough. I appreciate you coming to hang out here on the channel. If you haven't been listening, of course you can find Derral Eves on his channel. I was on the fence with Vid Summit last year, and it was absolutely the right decision. The channel has more than made back the money that I spent to get there last year. So if you have real ambitions to grow your business, I would definitely encourage you to take some time to think about trying to get there, or at the very least get the virtual ticket. So awesome to have you, Derral. Any final remarks that you'd like to share with the crowd before you go earn another gold play button?
Earn another play button. Oh my gosh. No, like I think the thing for me is don't give up. Like consistency is the key to success, but don't expect your content to resonate with everyone immediately. You need to analyze and adjust to succeed. If you do the same thing over and over again, that's insanity and stupidity. Okay. But if you say, look, here is success, and these are the indicators I look at as my content. And once again, I can't reiterate this enough. Your content is your title, your thumbnail, your video, and your description. That's your content. Content is the most important thing. And if you improve your content to get higher click-through rates, longer average view durations, and really looking to get suggested out there, you will grow on YouTube. There's just no ifs, ands, and buts about it. So don't give up. I know that I've talked pretty long here and people get discouraged. You don't have to have the latest equipment. You just need to be engaging enough to keep the viewer on longer, and you're finding a way to connect with them on an emotional level. So there's a lot of things that you can learn. And if you can't afford anything, that's what YouTube's for. It's free as long as you have an internet, and you can find a lot of great resources that are there that you're able to get that. I would encourage everybody to do the Creator Academy that YouTube puts up. It's great content. It's best practices. There's a lot of free advice to make it better. The thing that I think a lot of people do is they analyze too much, and they do too much research in the wrong way. And so the best research that you can do is grab channels that are similar to your channel that you want to create, and you start watching them for at least an hour a day. And then no more than that. Don't go more than an hour, because then you'll get sucked up into the world of being a viewer, not a content creator. Right. But you have to watch what they're doing to know, oh, here's some patterns that these successful YouTube channels are doing. Maybe that's what I need to do too. Oh, they interact with the fan this way. Oh, that's the thing I need to do. So it's more analyzing that data just as much as your own content. Right. And then keep in mind, the more focused you are with your video and your channel on a specific niche and a specific category within that niche, the more successful you'll be.
Awesome. Again, great to have you. get to VidSummit, guys. It's as simple as that. If you can't, get the virtual ticket. Awesome that you were able to spend what's now almost 3 hours with us here tonight. We're
And we
gonna.
were only going to do 2 hours for me.
I know, right?
I still have to shoot a. I still have to shoot a video for Amazon. Like we're one of my clients, and I'm like, oh my gosh, now I got to do that.
So we have a little bit more time left. We're gonna let Derral go take care of his video, and we'll continue on. Maybe we'll look at some channels and stuff. But thanks again, Derral. I appreciate it. Take
Thanks,
care.
Dad. And I appreciate you reaching out and making this happen. I really do appreciate that.
Right.
So
thank you.
Okay, bye bye.
All right, guys. So different live stream tonight for sure. I appreciate everybody coming and hanging out tonight. We're going to hang out for a little while longer. I didn't get a chance to jump into the chat as much because we were doing a lot of good content and trying to make the most use of our time with Derral so he could share all of his knowledge with us. But let me jump in the chat and say hello to everybody. I appreciate those of you who have been here for the entire 3 hours. That is awesome. And we'll see who we got out there. I see Science Gal Aquatics, Savage Scientist, Doug Hewson, of course, Guy the IT Guy. Dr. Sten Eckberg, great to have you guys all here. Launchpad Astronomy needs more subs out there. Good to see you as well. Vipesta Gaming, McCann Dog Training, Fantastic Joe. We have Shannon Vlogs. Thanks again for the super chat. Really appreciate it. Tom DeSico in the house as well. For those of you who don't know, Tom is actually heading out to Vid Summit. We're going to head out there together and shoot some video, so that'll be awesome. He's actually fairly local to me. Gord Eisman out there also. Awesome to have you in the live stream as well. And Fantastic Joe. Jeff Eatley. Yeah, let's get that squared away in the background. All right, that is good. All right, guys. And so what did you think? Was that informative? It's amazing to hear about channels and what they're able to accomplish. And, you know, just you think you're thinking big, and then you realize what so many other channels have been able to do, and you realize you need to set your bar a little bit higher because it's definitely out there and definitely attainable. So let's see, we got in here Beanie Jaws still in the house. Endeavoring Family, good to see you. It's a much different thing. So when this video first started in the intro, for those of you who weren't here in the beginning, my when I transitioned to the joint the joint interview screen, some of my volume things disappeared, and I thought my mic muted. So I was like, "Hey, welcome," and then I paused because it disappeared, and I was looking at the desktop or something in it, and I'm like, no, I don't want to ramble off at the beginning of this video on mute, so I had to slow down and double check. Glitch out there as well. Good to see you. Driving Me Crazy, hanging out for the long haul. Thanks, man. Let's see here. You know what I was thinking through this entire live stream is think of all these little nuggets that I can break this video into and share on the channel. There's some good stuff out there. All right. Oh yeah, Derral is definitely the real deal for sure. He a lot of the stuff he does is behind the scenes, but there's some pretty significant work being done. Always good to stay motivated, geeky drinkers. Yeah, Derral's a really good guy. I've had phone conversations with him, and you know, he's, you know, with his busy schedule that he has, he's willing to take out a few moments of his time and help people out. So it was a pleasure to have him on here. But serious about VidSummit, and I'm not just trying to I don't get anything out of trying to get you to go to VidSummit, other than I know I was on the fence last year when VidSummit rolled around, and I had decided not to go, and at the last minute decided that if I wanted to get my channel to where it was, this was going to be an inevitable step of it. So I kind of went out of my comfort zone a little bit and made it happen, and flew out to Los Angeles. It was the first time I had ever gone out to California or Los Angeles. And you can stay right in the hotel. It's called the Westin LAX, I think, Westin Los Angeles Airport. But it's great. You stay up in the you got your room upstairs. The conference rooms are on the bottom floor. There's a little bar in there. There's a little morning place to get morning coffee and stuff. So if you want to, you can get there. The Westin sends a shuttle over to the airport. So you just go out, you grab the shuttle from the airport. It brings you to the hotel. You get up in the morning, you go downstairs, you go through the day's worth of events. You can maybe break off and do some collaborations and meet some people in between events. But you can, if you want to, if you're more comfortable that way, you can actually do the entire thing without ever leaving the Westin. Which is really nice. So, but then, yeah, I mean, most of the other people are staying in the hotel as well, so you get to interact with them in a much more personal, informative way than you would online. So, if you're on the fence, step out of your comfort zone and make it happen. I don't think you'll be disappointed in it. And if it is just too much money, then do the virtual ticket. Let's see. Jeff Eatley, how many small channels are there? Well, there's definitely small channels there. When I went last year, I had 410 subscribers. I met a few channels there, which was amazing to me. I actually had a few people who came up to me and recognized me from YouTube at 410 subscribers, which I found was kind of amazing. But I wonder if anybody will recognize me this year. In any event, definitely plenty of small. I know Derral, because Derral works in a world of millions and millions, but there are a ton of small creators there. There was one kid who had like 200 subscribers, and he went to the front of the room and he asked Gary Vee, or Gary Vee asked him what his goal was, and he gave it to him in terms of subscribers. And, of course, everybody was kind of like, well, that shouldn't really be your goal. But that kid ended up, I don't know, he probably gained a couple hundred subscribers while he was there, and then subsequently Gary Vee did a shout out on him on his channel. Now that kid's up to like 10, 15, 20,000 subscribers on his channel, and he has little YouTube thing going for himself. So Texas Style Barbecue and Cuisine just passed 1 million views. Thanks for the help, Dan. Awesome. That is fantastic. I'm looking forward to passing 1 million on one channel. I just passed 500,000 on each channel, so I've crossed 1 million combined, but still waiting to get the 1 million on a single channel. Tom DeSico, can you talk some pro tips for first-timers going to VidSummit? Things to bring, hot spots, just any advice for the event. So, like I said, if you want to, you can totally live within the confines of the Westin. And you don't really need the one thing that I will note, the LAX was really hot when I went there. And it was, I don't know if their air conditioner was broken or whatever, but it was super hot. So, be prepared for that. I actually changed while I was at the airport because I was so hot, just to try to cool off a bit. But, so there is the weather. So if you want to possibly, do stuff at the end of the day or go out and about in Los Angeles, you might want to bring a couple extra outfits so you don't run out of clothes, because that would be a bummer. You can walk down this. There are some restaurants in walking distance of the Westin. I think there was like a Thai food place, and I know there was like a Subway or something. And then LA has Uber, so anywhere you want to go, you just call an Uber to the hotel and it can bring you, so you don't have to worry about transportation. You don't have to rent a car. You can just pay per ride wherever you want to go. I know a lot of the guys like I think Brian G. Johnson and Nick Nimmin went out to the coast on the Saturday. So if you do the days that the actual conference is going on, it's pretty full. So if you want to get out and do stuff during the day, you might want to extend your stay into the weekend. Like last year I left on Friday right after the event ended. This year I'm staying into Saturday so I can actually get out of the hotel and maybe see some sights in the area. But consider doing the extra day if you can afford it. If you know other YouTubers who are considering going, try to work together and share a room. That can save you money. Look for the best flights. There's certainly a bunch of different ways to save money on flights. They have Southwest does the fly anywhere thing where it's non-refundable, but they will give it back to you as a credit. So you get that, you end up paying a couple $100 for a one way. And then if for some reason you don't use it, you have a credit to fly somewhere else. So those are the kind of things you can do to try to minimize the cost on that front. Hey, Kevin. Yo, Dan, how do I keep videos engaging? We actually covered that in the live stream, so check out the replay. And Derral and I talked about that. Beanie Draws is recapping the kids' interaction with Gary. I think I have it on. I think I took video of it, or before and after it. Let's see. All right, that's right. I promised a TUBEBUDDY giveaway. Thank you, Doug, for the reminder. So for anybody who does not currently have a paid tier TUBEBUDDY upgrade, I'm going to give away. Let me pull this up here. And I'm glad you reminded me, because last time I was going to give one away, I totally forgot to do it. All right, here. Let me pull that up, and we will get those TUBEBUDDY to give away. All right, so we're going to give away 2 licenses. All right, so again, if you don't have if you don't currently have a paid one, then you're eligible to use this code to upgrade from a free one. If you win the code, I'll send you out instructions if you don't currently have a free one, and how to set up your free account first and then apply the code. So, we are going to do, the first one is a six months of a pro level license. And air is drying here tonight. Let me turn on my AC. All right. So so for those of you who are watching the stream, and again, if you already have a paid TUBEBUDDY license, then don't participate, because it'll be difficult to pick out the winner. Several times in this stream, I identified how many subscribers I had at VidSummit last year. The first person who lists the total count of subscribers I had at VidSummit will get this 6-month pro level license for TUBEBUDDY. Now I sit back and wait. Find me at VidSummit, Jeff, and I'll buy you a drink. And Jeffrey Eatley is the winner with 410. Let's see, we'll do this. All right, so Jeff Eatley is saying pass it on to Needs More Subs, who was the next person with the correct answer. Just verify Needs More Subs that you don't have a currently have a paid version. All right, and just waiting for that response here real quick. Let's see what we got. I don't know what kind of delay we're running at now, but Needs More Subs is let me know that you don't currently have a paid version. I don't have paid TUBEBUDDY. Okay. Sure you're on live chat and not top chat. Check your messenger on Facebook, Alex, and you will find your TUBEBUDDY license. Alrighty. The next TUBEBUDDY license that we're going to give away is a well, that's an interesting thought driving me crazy. We could do that. All right. So the next code we're going to give out is for a 1-year star level TUBEBUDDY license. All right. So this next question, to win a 1-year star level TubeBuddy license available to anybody who either has a free TubeBuddy account or is not using TubeBuddy at all, which means you do not currently have a paid version, is going to get a 1-year star level TubeBuddy license. Are you ready? The first person to tell me the month and the day that VidSummit starts wins the license. Go. All right, so the correct answer, the first answer, well, I don't want to, okay. The correct answer is from Launchpad Astronomy. Launchpad Astronomy with October 9th. Sabby BG got the first answer in, but unfortunately October 2019 is not the correct answer. So the first correct answer is Launchpad Astronomy. So the first question to Launchpad Astronomy, let me know in the chat if you are on Facebook. And if you are, send me a friend request. You can just look for Dan Currier and send me a friend request, and then I will send you your license through Messenger. All right, and as soon as you message me on Facebook, I will give you that that license information. Let me check out something here. I'm curious. Where did we peak tonight? You know, I'm always curious about the randomness of who makes it to a live stream. I'm actually surprised that there weren't more people in here tonight. Our peak was 67, which isn't bad, but it's not the record for the live stream. So there may be people who just how do you spell your last name? right, and delivered. And then let me just write your names in here. And no, it was actually /Launchpad Astronomy. And then the other one went to needs more subs. Awesome. Thanks again to all you guys for coming and hanging out on the live stream. It was a long one tonight. We're probably going on the longest because we're looking at like 3 hours and 14 minutes. Derral was nice enough to stay for nearly 3 hours. So awesome opportunity to have him available for Q&A for that amount of time. So hope you guys got your questions answered. Thanks to everybody who shared the stream. And hey, if you have time tomorrow, when the replay gets posted, stop in, say hello in the comments, and let me know that you were on the live stream. I would appreciate it. And definitely, if you're in the chat right now and you haven't clicked that thumbs up button, do that as well before we wind down for the night. Yeah, Derral's chock full of knowledge, so anytime we can let him just share what he has to offer, just get your pen and paper ready. All right. I'm curious. All right, guys. It is 12:15 here on the East Coast. Again, want to thank you guys all so much for coming and hanging out with myself and Derral. It was a very informative evening. I'm going to look at maybe breaking up some of this content and sharing some tidbits in some smaller formats. So for those who are interested in some shorter form content, get some of this knowledge that Derral dropped on us. Let's see here. All right, so I think we're going to wrap it up for tonight. Thank you so much. I will head over to the Discord. If you're not part of the Discord before you sign off for tonight, definitely hop over to the Discord quick and join. Say hello in the live stream after party group, and just let me know that you stopped by. We're trying to grow that all as well as a way to share some knowledge over there. So even if you can't hang out for any period of time, just follow the link that I just put in the chat and join the group. That way, if I have something to share that I may not be able to share on YouTube, I can share it in the Discord and you'll receive that notification. There's an app for it and everything. You can download it on your phone. It's just a good way to share information when sharing it on YouTube doesn't make the most sense. So I'm going to head over to that Discord as soon as I get off of this live stream. So I hope to see you guys over there. Like I said, stop in, say hi. But that is all for tonight. Thanks again, and I will see you guys next Wednesday, 9 p.m. Eastern. Take care.